Oh.
Bottle opener.
Gotcha.
I don't think you can go anywhere in Wisconsin and have trouble opening a bottle. That's not a twisty.
It's like that thing about how you're never more than 2 feet away from a spider, except with bottle openers.
Yeah.
Because we're all alcoholics.
Well, alcoholic is a relative term.
I don't think we are. Like I like the way Lewis Black said. Like Wisconsin, we're professional drinkers.
Yeah, I do like that.
We're
Like
also
athletes.
prepared for when there's no clean water to drink.
Some of us are not as professional as we'd like to think we are.
God, this advertising thing needs to go away so I can see the chat.
Bud Light All Stars.
Yeah, there's no spot on the window here to make it go away.
You mean the America All Stars?
No, that's Budweiser, sir. Bud Light is still Bud Light.
Okay.
Budweiser is America.
I missed the Bud Bowl.
Yeah. Do you know about that, right?
No.
That Budweiser for like 6 months before the election is going to be calling itself America.
Okay.
Yep.
In fact, it's relabeled. It basically
Yeah,
has
whole
Trump
bottle.
going to make it better?
probably.
I don't
Again?
think a fairy godmother could make that stuff taste better. To be honest,
If it's the Trump version of making it better, you just wouldn't be allowed to drink it if you weren't
Put a
white.
wall around it.
Yeah.
Now I know you like to be the opposite of me.
Budweiser is fucking gross.
So we're on opposite ends of the table. If I had a choice of which beer I would drink, either Miller or Budweiser, I would be drinking Budweiser.
I don't understand that. Like, Budweiser tells you straight up where their beer comes from because they have Clydesdales as their spokespeople or spokes-animals.
Is that a urine joke?
It is. It's
Didn't they
piss.
have
It's
frogs
piss in
for
a
a
can.
while?
It's gross. Budweiser is nasty.
If I had to drink Budweiser or Miller, I wouldn't. That's my vote.
Gun to head, Nathan. Gun to head. Which one? You just take the short way out? You're
Yeah.
Like, nothing. Bam.
No regrets.
No regrets.
When I was at Muse, somebody offered me, I guess it's some just shit beer that I've never had before called Newcastle something.
Newcastle.
And the problem
High
was
quality.
The problem was that there must have been something weird about Iowa's fridges, but they like every beer that I drank there tastes like Freon. So like I couldn't tell if the beer was like bad or okay, or if I was really just slowly poisoning myself.
Couldn't it be all?
It probably actually is.
You saying Newcastle is putting Freon into their beer?
Well, no.
How do you know what Freon tastes like?
It's you smell it, and the smell is like the taste a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe it's like coffee where it smells really good, but then it tastes terrible. Because like coffee doesn't taste how it smells.
No, well, yeah,
It
probably.
does.
I love the smell of coffee, and I would drink Miller and Bud before I would drink coffee.
Coffee tastes like the
Burnt
way
wood
coffee
chips.
smells, but depending on how it's like brewed or steeped, like whatever you're doing with the coffee makes it really bitter.
Yeah,
So
it's terrible.
when you can brew it to get rid of the bitterness, it tastes a lot like how it smells.
No.
Promise.
I will just sit in a Gloria Jean's coffee shop, inhaling and be happy, and never drink a drop of that
love coffee.
terrible rancid garbage.
So good.
The only thing worse than coffee is tea.
See, thing is, though, for me, I'm like a Clarence's character from, or not Clarence's character, the character Clarence from True Romance. Is I'm not happy until the spoon stands straight up. Is I have to have so much sugar, so much creamer. It just basically I have to replace all the bad taste of coffee with milk and sugar.
I think the only way I could drink coffee would be out of necessity, and that moment has never happened.
You guys are all fucking crazy.
No,
I feel like
Just
the
not my
only
thing.
adult in the room.
Whatever.
that's probably true. I mean,
It was strange how, like, my parents, when I was growing up, were like, you can never have coffee because that's for grown-ups, but, like, they'd hand me a soda, no problem.
Yeah, and it's worse for you.
No, it was fine.
It's literally the same
my-
caffeine content with less sugar.
My baby teeth needed to come out sometime, right?
how's off rot out?
Yeah. That's my free pass. I can floss with Twizzlers.
I was looking for a comic I read that I liked, which is because it's topical. Which is I like my coffee like I like life in general. Once thrilling, but now a mundane daily ritual that has me questioning what I ever found enjoyable about it to begin with. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Crippled System, episode 160.
160!
Boom.
Prime number.
No.
No, no, it's
You
not.
don't even need to think about that one.
No.
It's gonna be a while before you get to another one.
Yeah. 161.
Well, maybe a couple hours until the next one. I mean,
I haven't checked that one yet. I think it's Prime, though.
I don't think so.
Well, it's not divisible by 13. It's not divisible by 12. It's not divisible by any even number, obviously. It's not divisible by 13 or
You tried
11 or
7.
9.
It actually is divisible by
Yeah,
7.
23.
Yep.
7 times 23. But it's the factor of 2 primes. It's the factor of 2 primes. High five. Yes, she almost didn't.
She could have left you hanging, bruh. So what do we have for announcements?
Leaks.
we have some announcements. We have coming up here. I'm trying to decide, and we should probably take a poll sometime, if we're going to allow Nathan to play Spattleboars and Sputterboars.
When is it?
The 28th.
So this coming Saturday is the...
Nothing.
Right, no, but
There's a
date-wise,
Maple
this
thing.
coming Saturday is... So it's not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I
This-
do have that. That's my next day off, so I can make it.
This
You
coming
can make it to that.
this coming Saturday, there's like a 35-point steamroller in at this thing called MeepleCon. It's like somewhere up north by like Stevens Point or something. Meeple Stock, I think, is what it's called.
You know a meeple.
So they're
Yeah.
Okay.
putting a War Machine thing out there. I think like I said, I think the Stevens Point folks are running it, but
Oh, we could go there and steal their toys.
we could.
Speaking of which, where's my third place coin, bitch?
I was gonna go to Baraboo.
Where's my first place coin?
Well, your first place coin is sitting with all your Shadows of Brimstone stuff, which I needed to go get, but some timing things just didn't work.
Wait, you
out
have his
before
coin,
me
but
was
not
done.
mine?
No, they're in the same place. It's in Baraboo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my pen. I want my pen.
What pin? Oh,
actual
and now
pen.
everybody wants their company of
Pin.
iron pins
Oh,
too.
pin.
What am I made out of? Fucking pins?
If I were saying pen, I would
No.
say pen.
Well, it could have been.
No.
It could have been.
No.
I don't know how well you enunciate.
I enunciate fairly well. I've got the English down.
the English noun?
Say noun?
I fucking hate you guys.
Which English noun?
So I think also on June 4th, Baraboo has switched from the 75.2 caster event to an escalation style event to better accommodate our locals. So that's how that's going to
Escalation
work.
style, as in, it's going to be.
It's going to go
25.
15 points and then end at a 75
When were you
point.
going to tell people this?
John just figured it out today because John Acker is going to be running the tournament instead of me.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting watching him bumble through that.
But this isn't replacing your two-caster.
It is replacing
You
it.
son of a bitch.
I know. I'm sorry.
I needed 2 other Mountain Kings.
Well,
We're
our
still doing it in Mark III, I guess.
the
My
last
14 Vanguard list is looking alive and well in Mark
I don't
III.
even know who, like, to better cater who.
our local people, like
Whom?
I don't think that the locals, a lot of them are fairly like, it's not that they're new to the game, they're new-ish, but they're having a hard time finding their bearings. So trying to work with the complexity of 2 casters and having to respond to somebody who knows what they're doing with 2 casters is probably going to be a little bit demoralizing.
So you think
I
escalation
think
will
that
help me?
statement
I
is
think-
demoralizing, Brian.
I think
I'm really
escalation
disappointed in
demeaning.
you.
I think escalation will be just fine for them. It'll give them a taste of the 75-point thing. Like, here's a little bit bigger of a game for those, because a lot of them are like 40K switchovers, so they can play a little bit larger of a game.
My mind combined both of those events. I was thinking you're going to go 50,
An escalation at
15,
2
25,
casters.
35, 50, 2 casters.
No,
or just
two casters the
all
whole way
through.
from 15 all the way to 75.
Yeah, we'll
Gives
do
you a pretty
that.
good battle group.
Yeah.
It's a good 15-point game.
It'd be super great. So, those are the. I know that Lacrosse is going to run one more event. It's going to be a 50-point steamroller. It's just that the date is TBA at the moment. I'd asked them to not have it on the Baraboo event because I want to go there and play.
Neato.
Yep. So that I think that rounds out all the announcements up until Lock and Load, really. Also, MuseCon was awesome.
I am going to Lock and Load. And somebody here has to learn how to run the stuff so they can record on the 12th once all the stuff gets released.
Ooh, I won't be in this state.
Can
you won't
we
be
just call
It's
you
like 3 out
and
of
leave the
4.
podcast on a voicemail?
No, that doesn't work that way.
So somebody
You
not
guys
in this
still have to
room needs to learn
record.
it.
Yeah.
No, Brian can do it, but
Yeah, I can rock it solo.
Brian is
I'll bring the
incapable. I would not trust him with any
I'll bring the D
technology.
team from Baraboo with me.
No.
Maybe we might even be able to get Johnny
you gonna
from
be in
Manitowoc.
town?
I'm going to be in Seattle.
Why?
I have friends in Seattle.
Why?
So you're going to Lock and Load?
I am not going to Lock and Load.
Why would you go to
What?
Seattle that weekend and not go to Lock and Load?
Well, we were planning on going to Lock and Load,
Yeah.
and then Brian couldn't.
So fuck.
It's not that I couldn't. It's just that I decided you wanted to go hang out with your friends.
I did. We were
And
gonna
I thought
take,
it would
like,
be
a
weird
week and a
for me to
half
be
off.
there and want to be like, hey, friends,
Yeah.
this is the first time I've met you. Well, at least the male half of it. Fuck you, I'm going to play War Machine with people.
Take
They
'em
were
with you.
anticipating that, though.
Ah,
They
Yeah,
knew
it's
that we were
win-win.
gonna-
You get to go to Lock and Load. They get to hang out with her.
I guess
Everyone's
so.
happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, what we were going to do is we're going to take, like, the whole weekend off plus part of the week and split it, but that ended up being, like, 500 hours of PTO that
I think it was
both
just
of us
the money
couldn't
for
afford.
both of us to go was a little bit over the top. We had tried to figure out how we would drive out there.
A week is.
Oh, you don't want to drive out there.
It would have been
Yeah.
like a week and a half.
Well, we were gonna, like-
500 hours.
Well,
I've got 2 weeks,
I'm
and
taking
that's 80 hours.
32, and then it would be like another 5 days. So
500
another
hours would be
40
like
hours.
That's like
I'm
a couple
exaggerating.
months.
Like I am exaggerating, obviously.
Do you know what exaggerate is?
Wait, you're enunciating?
Oh my god!
Because my
I should have
trip
just stayed downstairs.
Yeah, you should have.
my trip is going from like Wednesday the 8th until Wednesday the 22nd. That's only 10
Yeah.
hours off,
I'm leaving that same Wednesday.
or 10 days off.
Yeah, I have a hard time using up my PTO because I always do things like Friday through Monday and it uses up 0 hours of PTO. And I'm like, oh, right. That didn't work.
I don't have a hard time using my PTO, but
Yeah.
that's because we always take like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday off.
Yeah.
I just always am digging at the bottom of the barrel of my PTO just because I'm always doing stuff.
It's hard for me because I work weekends. So, if by working Sunday through Thursday, that's 0 days off. In a job that doesn't have you
Yeah.
working on Saturday or Sunday, you're going to be hitting those days off more.
Yeah.
Yup.
There's other people.
So there was one thing that I did forget to say the last time I was on from forever ago was I went to a Guild Ball tournament in Chicago and I ended up meeting a few people who recognized my/Nathan's voice, and I didn't realize that it seems like some people seem to think you and I are the same person at some times. I think maybe they think we have the same voice.
You do not.
Which
sound
one
like
of
a
us
native
should
I
more
don't
insulted?
sound like I did feel
Was
I did
that-
feel a little bit insulted because I'm like I'm not that nasally and
No one's this nasally.
bitchy.
Brian's
No one's
kind of
this
nasally. Brian, you're kind of nasally.
I'm not nasally. I can't be nasally. I have like 2 aspirated holes that are just there making sure that I'm not nasally. I
I
have
was going to
vents.
ask, was it the same guy that had the crippled system dice?
No, the crippled
who-
system dice
who
guy
sat
was
right next to me, and I was like, "Oh, I see you have crippled system dice." And he looks at me, he's like, "Yeah, I love those guys." Like he's not watched any of the newer podcasts over like the last 6 months or so.
That's
Where
whatever,
I have
and-
probably come up a few times, and I'm just like, "That's super cool. I know them."
Aw.
Aw.
You could have said, I'm one of them and punched him.
I think Casey was like, "We're one of them," and
Yeah.
almost punched a bitch.
No, I was just like,
Is
"Wow."
Casey Acker going to have to choke a bitch?
As you do more and as more of those episodes air, you probably get more
Plus-
internet famous.
A lot of them don't watch,
More
they just
internet
listen,
famous.
which is how you get the this weird voice confusion.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if something comes across weird. It was just an interesting revelation.
Were they deaf?
No, well, the thing that freaked me out was like he looked like a guy I used to work with at a tattoo parlor, but like 20 years younger, and I just like really felt bad. I looked at him like, life's not going to treat you very well if you're sharing that same gene pool. And well, I guess you'd also have to start doing meth, and that would probably then they'd sync right up.
Yeah, I don't think it's the genetics that's to blame then. Like normally if somebody does meth and
It's
they
like-
turn out weird looking, it wasn't the gene.
Well, it's like a doppelganger. It's what I would think Kevin from the tattoo parlor would look like if he never started doing drugs and didn't have to deal with a bunch of kids
okay.
and was 20 years younger.
That was our first topic.
That feels like an unfortunate stereotype for someone who works in a tattattoo shop.
And a lot of them are true, but
Yeah,
Stereotypes exist for a reason.
I know.
Yeah.
Because they are fact.
Yeah.
All of them, 100% without
Correct.
failure, are always true, always, forever, and correct.
Always true.
Always.
Yeah. So our first subject.
Leaks.
No, we still have
Do we
more
wanna
announcements.
Damn it!
Why?
More
Why are there
goddamn
so
announcements.
many announcements.
You're the out of all the people here, you should be talking about this.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have
we said that you should sign up for the WITC, and 0 more people signed up, even though I know there's people listening / watching who are going to show up. Funny thing is, a payment came in. I'm like, oh, good, another team signed up. And I looked at it, and it was another payment from a team that had already signed up.
Yeah, to finish.
But it wasn't even that, because it's supposed to be $50 per person, right?
Sure.
And it's a $100 deposit. So they had done that, so they had $150 left, and then this was just a $50 payment. So I think one of the people on the team fully paid his portion, even though 20% of his portion had already been paid by the. So that now it's weird. Now I have to track that team is
Sure.
60% of the way paid off.
We did have some confirmations. There are probably some more coming in.
I know.
Muse had some folks sign
At
up.
least
finally.
one team.
I think I sold another Chicago team. I was talking to Rich.
Yep.
Rich is his name. I think we ended up getting him on board.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, we're still short one for Team Vagina Power. I don't know if that's our name. We're still short one.
There's got to be some unique War Machine player out there that can join too, right?
A woman. There's actual women that
Yeah,
play War
Brian.
Machine.
Jesus.
Wow.
Have
You guys should send a feeler out to War Game Girl.
We were going to reach out to the Facebook group of Women of War Machine
Sure.
if we don't get one between now and June 1st.
You've kind of exhausted most of the locals I can think of off the top of my head, unless Casey admits to herself that it's not 1993 anymore, so she doesn't need to go to a Korn concert.
That's probably the worst part of it too. But then John has to do something too.
If she was missing it for Rammstein, I get it. Like, I would abandon this to go see Rammstein, but they're on Friday.
Yeah.
So, no. She's going on
Exactly. Well,
Saturday.
she's in the area too,
Korn
isn't
and
she? It's like
Nickelback.
it's still Milwaukee, right?
It's Chicago, I think.
It's basically Milwaukee.
Basically.
They smell the same.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, Chicago probably smells a little bit better.
Yeah, it smells
I
less
would
like
say a
beer
lot
and more
better.
like rotting corpses and corruption.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
also
I
like
mean,
Chicago.
it does smell better than fermenting beer.
It
Chicago
sure does.
has like a hot dog cart on every corner, right? That's just the way they operate. Hot dogs and pizza on every corner. And in Milwaukee, if you did that, you just get robbed.
It's hilarious.
And Dave Matthews buses as well over
Yeah.
over
And those just smell like patchouli and weed.
Dave Matthews shitting on people in Chicago. I'll just dump this out here.
Oh, there goes that tour boat. Merp, merp.
What the hell, man? Why would you do that? You know those carts, like, they have to pay, like, $10 million a year for their spots? Like, it's
Yeah, I don't
insane what they pay.
What?
That's
Well,
pretty
like, the
intense.
really key spots, like, right outside the Field Museum,
Sure.
literally cost millions of dollars to rent that
To hold
spot.
the cart there?
Yeah. Yeah, like, the cart owners pay millions of dollars because they sell so many hot dogs.
Are they with the mafia?
Their hot
Then
dogs
what happens if
aren't
there's
that
a road
cheap
cart?
either, though.
Well, I would
They're
imagine they're
like-
like $5 or $6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and they sell
Countless
thousands of them.
hot dogs.
Like the gross sales, no pun intended.
Yeah,
because
at
they're
those
hot
shotgun carts. Oh, shotgun carts? What the fuck? The gross sale at those hot
So
dog
those are in
carts
Wisconsin.
That's Milwaukee.
are amazing. Like what they sell, and so yeah, those spots cost a fortune. You know, and especially then in places like New York as well. Like if you have the hot dog cart like in Times Square, like it's insane the overhead, but it's worth it just because they sell so much.
I just assumed that it was just
You just
I'm
roll
a
it
mobile
around, right?
mobile
No,
cart.
you have to have a permit for those locations.
It's like
But
when
what
they
if there's
have
a
the,
road cart though?
They get ticketed and shut down.
Yeah.
Like the cops come up and like, "Where's your permit to sell?" Right here. And
I
if you don't
suppose-
have a permit to sell right there, you're gone.
And if a cop's gonna know because they get free hot dogs.
Yeah,
That's what I heard. That's what I learned from Always Sunny.
yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
That and how to make rum ham.
They didn't actually. He did tell you how to make rum ham. Yes, never mind.
He's got 2 ingredients. It doesn't take a lot of effort to figure out how to make
Well,
rum
no,
ham.
there's other things too.
Soak ham in rum.
Well, you got pineapple in there too, and
Well,
some
that's
cherries.
just standard ham.
All right.
So we're going to talk about French's. I'm talking about mustard now.
Some French guy is getting murdered by a black ops team right now.
Exactly, yeah.
And unrelated to that, there was a leak.
Yep, who was it? The Romans that worked indoor plumbing first? Or was it the Greeks?
I think it was the Chinese.
Sure.
Chinese probably more likely if we're going by civilization.
Well, the Chinese they used series of piping to transport natural gas, but I don't know that they ever used it for plumbing reasons.
I think my joke's lost now anyways. I was going to talk about leaky French faucets.
Well, what people make is natural gas as well.
Not when I make it. It's very unnatural.
I've heard smelling farts is good for you. So
it
when
prevents cancer.
you fart on an elevator, you're really just helping everyone out.
Yeah, it helps prevent cancer. That's what I
That's a
heard.
terrible joke, and you probably pulled that from the internet somewhere.
I just watched a little video, whatever. My Facebook's set to autoplay. They also said women's farts are more stinky than men's. Scientifically proven. So take it.
Anyway,
Yeah, so leaky French faucets.
so
Is that what a female fart smells like? Is that what it's called?
I am pretty sure they just would know the difference anyway.
so I was reading on a forum and somebody was talking about various podcasts, and they said they don't like the random, stream of consciousness, crippled system style. And I was going to defend us, and then I realized I should not.
There is no defense for us.
There is no defense for us in general.
My favorite thing to do is when somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, I really enjoy your podcast." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Well,
You should go get some help.
when you pissed off the Malifaux people, all those knuckle-dragging, neckbeard losers. So, one of them started posting on our Twitter, and he's like, crippled system is the absolute worst thing in the history of mankind, and I assumed they were a fan.
Yeah.
And so I liked and retweeted it, because I thought it was great. And when that's true, we suck. And he's like, yeah, you're the worst. I'm like, we sure are, buddy. And it took 4 before I realized, oh, wait, no, this guy actually doesn't like us.
Well, I was happy enough that when we did go to MuseCon this past weekend here, I was not murdered by Malifaux players in fedoras.
It's because they're too afraid.
I think there were only 3 of them there.
They're big, scary people on the internet, but as soon as you take their keyboard away, they're like little babies.
Yeah.
I'd like to announce so too. Remember when I was talking about the Blood Bowl tournament at MomCon? That
2 people?
I
3?
really wanted it to be more than Guild Ball, but considering the state of the game next year when Blood Bowl is re-released through Games Workshop, yeah, we might have a chance at that. But
I saw a few games going on. There were 4 people, right?
But we had 4 people, which was more than Star Wars, I believe, and I think more than Malifaux.
So 4 people. Did you go ahead and do 3 rounds? Did you do round robin?
I round robin it.
Awesome. That works out really well then. You get a full day, and it's not just 3 rounds, whatever.
We'll missed out 1 round for it though, because it's only three games with 4 people.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So-
it was
so it's
originally
3
going to be set to 4 games.
Oh, but I mean, the point is, even though it's originally going to be 4, you still, 3 rounds is still a good chunk of time
Correct.
to play a game. It's not like it was just 2 rounds and then, whatever. And
I brought my stuff in case we were stuck at 3 or some kind of odd number, so we can at least get in all the games that we needed.
And I think a Blood Bowl team made it into the painting cabinet, too.
Yep, it did. A halfling team.
we segued into our second topic. We're talking about MomCon instead of leaks.
Okay, we'll talk about leaks and then
MomCon.
MomCon.
You can talk about MomCon. Leaks will be there.
Yeah, leaks will be there at the end. MomCon was cool. So, of the group that I went down with, just like it was Acker, Johnny from Manitowoc, who's now Johnny Pastrami, and Ethan. So all of us walked away with a cool accomplishment. Acker won the Who's the Captain Guild Ball tournament, which is like Who's the
Blatantly
Boss.
fucking stolen from Andy.
It's
Ben did ask for permission.
Okay, well there we go.
So.
And
Ben
then
Lang,
Ben Lang.
that piece of shit.
Yeah. That piece of shit.
So
Are you
now
gonna
we
insult
know
his wife now too.
He's a cheater. His wife's an idiot,
God.
and he's a piece of shit. God, man, I'm not sure if I'll let them allow me to sleep on their couch next year. That's how much I don't like the Lynx. Oh, okay. As a favor to them, I'll let them house
It
me.
might elevate their status.
It will. It will.
So, Acker won that. Johnny Pastrami ended up qualifying for Masters. He 4-0'd the Crumpians event, and
was that just using the Champions format, basically?
yeah, using what our perceived Champions format with just ADR casters. But
Was that not public yet? The full rules?
the full rules? I don't think are public.
Okay,
No.
never mind. Go on.
Then he did it with just.
I can't keep track of shit. There's too many leaks and Mark III stuff going on.
He ended up doing it with just P. Sorsha. That's all he had with him that he could do it with. So he qualified and then got his teeth kicked in by Keith in round 1 in Masters. But then Ethan, he almost qualified for Masters, but he decided to drink 11 cans of Kirkland in 1 hour, draining the clock against Haley 1. Because he didn't have an answer to her. He was hoping to dodge it. So he just decided to give the Haley player just as miserable of an experience by drinking nothing but shitty Costco beer on his clock. He got very belligerent and it was very rude.
The Haley player?
No.
Or Ethan?
It was Zach from Milwaukee. That guy can't get belligerent.
He can't. Zach's like the nicest guy.
He actually almost got shaken during it, though, but he was cool and collected. And
I mean, did Ethan just literally just sit there and drink for an hour?
he did get up to go piss and get more
right.
beer, but he did drink for an hour.
I'm not sure why that would even be annoying for Zach.
No, I don't
He
think so.
literally
He's
sit
like,
there
I'm
playing
just
his
going to
phone.
go 4-0 in this event and qualify, whatever. I'll sit here for however long I want.
He ended up winning the qualifier, right?
He did.
Zach?
He ended
Yeah.
up taking the qualifier.
Yep.
And along with some guy named Brandon, I think, whose name I can't remember the rest of it. He's a Kador player from Omaha, I think. And some other dude that played Kador. Crazy.
How'd you do?
Oh, I ended up walking away with best painted unit, so that was my cool
You
claim
paint
to
your
fame.
unit?
I did paint my unit, slapped it right out there. Chris Green was just begging for it, right? So where he was teaching me how to play Marvel Universe, and he was just like, Brian, ever since I left St. Louis, I just want to see your dick so bad. So I painted it up for him and put a little Nickelback logo on there, and he fell in love with it again.
Again?
Yep, second time.
Okay.
So other than that, I scrubbed a bunch, but I played in a spell draft and got like a 15-inch trample with a Scythian into a Denny and didn't kill her.
I saw a picture. I forget who posted, but somebody posted about how they got assassinated in spell draft with their Denny 3, and then the people were talking about how bad Denny 3 is because of a huge base and easily killed and whatever. But the picture he showed of the game, the opposing person was also Denny 3.
Yep.
So it's just especially stupid that the people posting were talking about how, yeah, that's proof Denny sucks. It's like, well, she also won that game.
From what I gather, Denny 3 is one of the more egregious ones.
In spell draft, she's broken as hell. You give her any 3-cost nuke and she wins.
Yeah. It's really difficult
His
to play
opponent
against that.
literally had just run. He had advanced like 4 inches out of his deployment zone, and his opponent just ran an arc node and then nuked him to death.
Yep. That was I played Veil 2 because I just was like, this is what I want to experience. I want to play this game in a crazy, over-the-top way. And I ended up getting Hellfire and Obliterate. And then I also ended up with Mobility, Rush, and Boundless Charge. So I was
Sure.
just like shooting beasts across the table at lightning speed. The guy I played against, that Denny 3 player, and he was like, I was not seeing a 15-inch trample coming at me. I'm like, yep, I'm sure you weren't.
What I would really like is for spell draft, because all you really see is any 8-cost caster, or some 7-cost casters that have some ridiculous other abilities. I'd like for spell draft because it's done in 8s, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have 8
pods of
players.
8.
You have 8 generic casters that all have like specific abilities that you draft from as well.
Well, we'll see. They hinted at the build your own Warcaster thing in Mark III, so we'll see what that's like.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it had cool artwork.
Yeah, I mean that would be how I would. The other issue I have with spell draft is that it's really super competitive for something that seems like it should just be kind of like a, hey, I got wacky shit, let's play.
Well, yeah, wacky in that game is good. Like, I mean, sure, I can put Quagmire on my Nis and run them into you. That's cool. But like, to launch beasts that far or do what was one of the other good mutagenesis with any huge base caster. Like of all 3 Denny's there had mutagenesis, and I also had thought about like, what if you knew what your opponent was playing before you drafted. So then that way you're like, if you have a eval player sitting next to you, you do not give them a nuke. Like if you see one, you just hate it out. But I guess like that makes for a weird
Magic player though. Like
that's the magic player in me talking, where I'm just like, okay, I cannot let this person have this or else we're all doomed.
The other thing I'd like to is, but it just take fucking forever, is if you redraft every round.
That would be interesting. So that way you don't get stuck with a over the top thing. And
could you actually maybe do it like this? Could you actually draft every round at the very beginning? It's like, my first round I'm going to have these spells, my second round I'm going to have these spells, my third round I'm going to have these spells.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to draft 8 cards. Plus,
except you need 4 sets of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, you just write them down, or
Yeah,
do
you
something
could write
like
them
that.
down.
you
But the
could
problem with
draft-
writing them down is if you're like, I don't remember what mutagenesis does, I need to go find a mutagenesis card.
Sure.
You could also just draft them like normal and then switch like every round. Everyone switches.
Oh,
their
everyone
stat.
else gets everyone else's draft?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It's hard to open with it around my neck.
You could have just lifted it 3 inches higher up.
Whatever. Then it would
Valid
go in the
counterpoint.
microphone. It probably went in the microphone anyways. Whatever.
Probably not. Somebody had mentioned loser pulls one card from the winner's pool and hands them one of theirs over.
That'd be pretty legit because I got stuck with some. No, never mind. I got Wraithbane. That was my worst card. Wraithbane on Ravagors is good. But no, MuseCon was really cool. I ended up buying a bunch of neat stuff there, and the Tectonic Studios guy was awesome. Like, there was nothing bad about that convention. The hotel was great. Like, we ended up getting one of the suites, so it had like a king bed that 3 guys slept in, and then the fold out couch, and like the hotel had an issue with us had an issue with Ethan bringing in his massive box of Kirkland, but they didn't mind that we were bringing down like onesies and twosies of beer, even though they had like an establishment selling alcohol attached to them. It was just a really chill place. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to going again.
I didn't see any issues like War Machine Weekend had with
yeah.
drunks.
Ethan was by
War
far
Machine Weekend was-
the closest to that. But War Machine Weekend does get pretty intense. I think Ethan's forever known as the Kirkland guy.
Yeah, this last War Machine Weekend was especially egregious about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, won't mention names, but he was already passed out on a couch. Like, I don't even think the con had even started yet.
Well, yeah, although that wasn't even as bad as like the couple nights later when they did Beer Machine and you get the, puke and rally and,
Oh, yeah.
Or I saw so many people that just had difficulty walking, and I think in that
And
type of
spilling
environment,
everywhere.
you don't want shit all over your models, and that's especially like the terrain and the boards that show up. Like you gotta be like manageable, and I felt like the Muson Con or whatever was like probably it just felt like some of the most well-behaved people of War Machine were there. Like it was just like everybody was just kind of on the same level. They were all there for the same reason, just to play and have fun, not to get shit-faced.
Yeah. So I helped out Tectonic Craft Studios on Friday.
That's Arky Dan's thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. He made me a custom Adepticon badge.
Yep. I assembled a lot of trays that first day. So the way he sets up his booth is that he has nothing assembled when he gets there. So you basically spend the next like 6 hours of that first day just assembling everything. You got him. So I assembled a ton of trays. But
Do your hands still smell like MDF?
no, the worst, the stuff that smelt the worst was Muse had a lot of mats.
Mats, yeah.
For
When I
their-
brought mine home, it still stinks.
Yeah, and they also use the 1D terrain as well too.
Their 2D terrain, it seemed like this stuff was more saturated in color, because the one complaint I've always had about Muse 2D terrain is that the colors seem a little washed out, but this stuff looked really crisp and clean. I liked it a lot. Plus their mats were really cool. Like
Yeah.
I was going to buy a Guild Ball one, but I already have a Steam Forged one, so I ended up buying one of their 4x4s, and other than it smelling rancid, it's pretty awesome.
Just do you have a garage?
I do have a garage.
Just put it in your garage for a couple days. Roll it out, put it in your garage for a couple days. It will eventually air out. That was the same thing with all the zones as well. Because I think however they cut it, because I believe they laser cut it.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes that smell.
But yeah, other than that, I loved it.
I got a guild bulb, Matt.
Ooh, Andy.
And one step further.
You
Yeah,
have a Matt and a team. You're in.
No, I don't have a team.
He has a partial team.
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Yeah, the starter box of butchers, right?
Yeah. That's it. I just have a starter box of butchers.
My plan was to finally cave, buy engineers, play engineers, get annihilated because engineers suck, and then quit the game. And then I could say I gave it a fair shot.
Now, buy Pin Vice instead. You'll do well.
What team was it that Salmon's had that had all the alchemy things that they threw?
The Alchemist.
Alchemist.
Yeah, okay. Okay, because all I heard is he came over to our area and started talking about one of his matches that he killed like 3 things on somebody's maintenance phase.
Yeah, with all the conditions. If you don't pay attention to it, they'll fuck you.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. But no, I picked up a butcher's team, or I got a butcher's team given to me, and then
You painted or something.
oh yeah, there was a painting contest that I helped run, which is going to make this next part here seem awfully fucking fishy.
Let's talk about how Andy fucked everyone. So
I didn't fuck anyone. God damn it. So
Well, that was rude of you.
So there was a painting competition that was there on top of the hobby lounge. This year, or for this one, I wasn't had my hands into this that much. Brian Finken really picked it up and ran with it. The eyes going wide for what?
I'm just saying, I didn't have a whole lot to do with this.
It was
wasn't
all
I
Brian Finken.
really had no hand in any votes or anything. And
So
Is this like how the first 5 years of the Monopoly game at McDonald's, it was won by somebody who worked for McDonald's?
no, it's not any of that. At the last minute, which is about a week and a half before the event came, I decided I'll pull out one of my models I had submitted at a War Machine Weekend many years ago. I don't believe I even placed, but it's a model I took a lot of time on, and I got some decent feedback, disheartening feedback from Ron Cruzy, the Dream Crusher from Privateer Press. And then I decided, okay, I'll work on that model. So I worked on it for like the first week before, and I submitted it. I knew I was going to be judging the event, so I wanted to make sure that that category was the last thing that was judged, and I would remove myself from the judging for it. Turns out then, when I removed myself from the judging, the replacement judge picked my model, and everybody else did, and then they also picked my model as for best in show.
I'm very happy for you, and
And it
congratulations.
only cost him $20 per judge.
Exactly.
ride.
He was like, I'm backing out of
I'm
this
not
one,
proud.
judges, because this is my model, Andy Welton's model, who you all really like a whole lot. And that stuff I gave you yesterday, yep, I remember I got you guys
That
food.
stuff?
This is Andy's model.
No.
I'm going to leave the room now.
No.
Your unbiased vote is appreciated.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. It is my first official convention win at a painting contest. I've never had that before.
Well, you've never judged him before.
I've judged them before. God damn it!
It just never occurred to you to do this last time.
Yeah, it was a big
Sure.
racket.
Yeah, I'm gonna win War Machine Weekend though, too. Well, you guys watch out. No,
This is easy.
Yeah.
no, it had some really good competition there. My model, it was in a very tight heat with another one of the caster models in that category. So it was just happened that it was chosen.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? Yeah.
What a crazy random happenstance.
Yeah. Joking aside, you deserve it. It was a well-won contest.
I had a conversation with Stubbs because he at Adepticon because he was talking about because he was doing painting stuff and there were some real gold caliber painters that were there, and somebody would come over with a model and go, oh, look at this, and the painters would be just rip them apart, just absolutely rip them apart. And he's talking about how it's really disheartening for the people, but it does them no good to go, oh, that's really nice, sweetie. Oh, isn't that cute? Bye. And they go, that
Here's your
thing fucking sucks
participation
after
medal,
they
yeah.
leave. If you legitimately want to be good, you need them to tear you apart.
Yes, and
I mean, it's nice for them to temper it, like you can try to do the sandwich, the good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, but no, not like the woman in between and the high fives. You should do those sandwiches too.
no Eiffel Towers.
Yeah, Eiffel Tower anytime you want to. Come on, it seems like a good time. Eiffel Tower, the JFK, all that stuff. So the point is,
JFK.
Like,
that's where you splatter all over her while she screams and tries to get out of the car.
Okay.
But anyway, so,
I just completely different.
no, but the point is you're doing them a favor
by giving them feedback.
giving them feedback. What is bad is what needs to be fixed. And you can mention the good things, and that's why I post on your Facebook, and you never responded, which I don't take personally, fuck you. But I was curious how much of that disheartening feedback you actually used in your improvements.
Yeah, I used a lot of it, though.
And that's the thing is, like, once, the emotional impact wears off and you look and you're like, okay, I understand what they meant, and indeed, this, that, and the other, now it is better.
Yeah. No, I guess it felt, to me, at that time when I painted it, it was like what I felt is like one of my best models I ever produced.
The pinnacle of your painting career.
Yeah, that's what I felt it as. And then when maybe it actually only placed the bronze at War Machine Weekend.
Yeah, I thought you placed something.
Yeah, I think you placed. I remember this. I was at work listening to back episodes of Crippled System like 5 months ago. It was really bad. I was in a dark place. And I remember I heard that episode and you took third and it sounded like you wanted to cut your wrists.
But here's the good thing. Like, so when you look back and think on it, that was the pinnacle of your painting. That was the best painting you ever done. Mm-hmm. You got feedback, you improved it, and now you've done even better.
Exactly.
Like, your pinnacle has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it did take 3 years to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
You set it aside for 3 years, right? And then, I don't know how many. You've done practice in between then.
I've had some other models before then, but I mean, not that many. I have not even remotely attempted to put in a model into a competition since that point.
Yep.
What?
nothing.
She thought of something funny.
Just thought about a dick joke.
No, well, I was giggling because I did not win best goal when we were playing Guild Ball in Chicago, and I was still a little peeved about that.
Did you go to MomCon?
I did not.
You did not?
No.
Did you do anything
This
fun?
was a stag.
You guys Destiny?
Party.
No, I actually played Heavy Rain all weekend.
Huh. Had you played it before?
No.
Wait, it was
Did you
raining
finish
all
it?
weekend.
I did finish it. In fact, I finished it with everyone still alive and got all of the good endings and everything fantastic and all of the silly trophies for being a really amazing player, even though I complained about the entire story while I was playing the game. It's a horrible story. It's really bad.
Heavy Rain?
Yeah.
It's got some flaws.
It's got some pretty bad writing.
Press X to Jason.
Yes, press X to Jason constantly.
Wait, what?
Press X to Jason. In the beginning of the game, like the prologue, like somebody's kid dies. Spoiler.
Oh my god.
But it's a prologue, though. It's at the beginning of the
prologue.
game.
It's the beginning of the game. But like, so the kid wanders off, and you as the parent need to
Because
find
he's
him.
fucking stupid.
And while you're looking
and you're
for
fucking
him,
stupid.
while you're looking for him, you have, you're moving around. And you can press like buttons to do things, and the X button literally just makes you go Jason. And so the big joke running thing was press X to Jason. There's even a song, press X to Jason. It's good times. The kid was dumb and deserved to die.
Well, and his dad was dumb and just like, yep, you can have this balloon run 20 feet away as I pay this creepy clown money.
Well, I mean, the kid ran off. I mean,
I have younger siblings, and I am much older than them, and I understand that you do not let a child that young, like, not be attached to you in a busy mall.
yeah.
They should have had their kids on leashes.
Yeah. Well, and then he died.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there was a killer. I wanted to play through it again and kill the killer, but I never bothered. I do like that the creator of the game specifically said, "Never play my game again." He said,
They don't want it. They don't want you to play it multiple times.
they want you to play it once and get your. They're like,
Get your experience.
life is experienced once. My game should be the same thing. Blah blah blah. Something
Very
pretentious.
artsy. Yeah.
Well,
Something
why do
artsy,
they
but it
have
kind of makes sense
trophies for getting all of the endings?
Because some executives decide to shoehorn that shit in there. The creator of the game isn't necessarily responsible for that.
Well, the
kind
creator
of
of the game needs to be a better fucking writer.
So that's probably why. Was it really bad bad writing the first time you went through it, or did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I literally turned on the game, and when I play solo games, I still like get into parties with people, and I'm pretty sure like
Well, then
Dylan
maybe
was
it's
the one I
just
was
your
talking
fault
to.
for not paying full attention to the
I
storyline.
paid full attention. I paid really good attention when they're like, "Oh yes, here are your children running around behind you, and you're lollygagging around the fucking mall, and you can't even look for a goddamn red balloon." It's just right there. He's got this giant red balloon, and you're just like, Jason, where did you go? It's very frustrating. It's very bad writing. And they, like, intentionally put tits in the game for no reason.
They sure did.
Wait, no,
but
there's a reason.
I did
No,
it.
there
guys.
is no reason.
I did a good job. So one time you have to see tits. And then the second time, if you're good at the game, you don't see tits.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'm just really bad at the game.
You saw tits both times?
No.
Well, because there's one time where like she takes a shower, and then there's
Yeah.
like the attack and everything. Then later, like at a strip club,
Oh.
she like seduces a guy.
Oh, yeah, no.
If you're bad at the game, she has to seduce him for longer, and
I
she
didn't
gets
have
naked
to do
again.
that, but I did throw a fit about her ripping her skirt to make her look more seductive when it just makes her have a ripped skirt.
Yes. Yeah. Yup.
That's all what I did all Friday and Saturday. Saturday, Sunday, Friday night. I was actually in a tiny chat with a group of friends. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with what tiny chat is, but it's like an older version of like web chat and like public
IRC?
space. Yeah.
So why
Talking
would-
about that,
why? Why? Why did you do this?
Because it's really great when you get 47 people in there,
Can you
and
just
you
Skype with
only
47
know
people?
like 7 of them.
Oh. Okay.
Do you know that there are people who have dicks that are smaller than my thumb?
Yes.
Yeah. See plenty of them.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Wait, that was your
speaking of red
Saturday?
writing, I
No,
did
that
like
was my Friday night.
in Heavy Rain, the cartoon in the game that has like the chef chasing the chicken. I watched that thing for hours. That thing's fun. And then there's the one with like the guys with the treasure map. I'll just watch the cartoons on the TVs in Heavy Rain because that's more entertaining plotline than Heavy Rain itself was.
Heavy Rain was rough.
It was cliched and ham-handed, but it was bad writing. But I've seen worse.
Yeah.
You ever
I
watch?
won't disagree.
You ever watch like Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5? And go and just watch the television in there.
Sure.
It's insane the amount of stuff that they put into just the television stuff. There's like 40
They put a
some
lot
hours.
of stock in those games, though. Like
Yeah,
when they create them, they put a lot of effort into
It's
them.
a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5 is amazing. Everyone should play it.
Speaking of which, leaks.
Oh yeah, leaks happen.
Grand Theft.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it actually was
speaking
kind of
of-
speaking of which. Hey, you made an actual segue.
Boom.
Also, the cartoons in Heavy Rain were made by a French company, and the French people stole the stuff that was leaked.
Yep.
I didn't think they stole it.
Dirty
I thought it
Frenchies.
was
It's probably a
they
French
had it
distributor or something.
and decided to share it.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
okay.
I think it was probably for printing because they were.
It's for translating.
yeah, that's what.
These people were
Yep.
supposed to be translating the text, and
Yeah.
instead
some-
they decided to take pictures and put it on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Or they released them to other folks that then one of those other folks decided to take pictures.
Yeah,
of
his
it.
spoilers. You can never show something to one person
Correct.
Exactly.
because they're going to show it to 2 people, and they're going to show it to 4, and then the internet has it.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like how STDs are spread.
yup.
I feel like that's a fallacy. I'm a very trustworthy person.
Okay, I'm never going to tell you a secret. You could be incredibly trustworthy, but you know how I know for sure that you'll never tell anybody? I just don't tell it to you.
That's fair.
Word. So I guess like I think there's the issue is like right now it seems like people are ostracizing people for enjoying the spoilers. At least there seems to be a little bit of that. That seems to be a trend that's happening recently.
Could you elaborate a little
There are
bit more?
people like there was a coup on the mercenary Facebook page over this because like the admin of the group was calling people scum for daring to read the spoilers. And
was
so they
for
made
80,
us,
yeah.
and then like they're fighting over this because people are like, "How dare you even look at the spoilers? You're a monster. You should ignore
Sure.
them and don't encourage this behavior because it's wrong. And as long as we all just ignore the pictures, then it goes away."
I think it sprung. They had like 85 new member requests after the spoilers were like let out as soon
Sure.
as it became common information. I think the group has 1 or 2 admins, so I think that's the real issue, is that there should be more of a brain trust and not so much just one person controlling the traffic in and out. And whether what he said was in jest or not, it really seemed like it was it just wasn't appropriate. I know, like, you can say, oh, somebody got butthurt on the internet, but the thing is like, when you're supposed to be like the figurehead for something like that, you should probably approach things with a little bit more tact instead of vomiting what you feel at the moment.
Right.
You admonish the people who posted the pictures. You don't,
Exactly. You go to the source. You can sit there and ostracize those people who let that shit slip because they probably have some kind of NDA or some company policy that says they shouldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
But just because it came out and I want to reap the benefits of that by reading the spoilers, I'll say I did. I read every single card there was because it was out there and I was able to look at it. I'm not the shitbag for reading them. The person who leaked that stuff is the shitbag for doing that. And I don't think you should be blackballing people for it.
But this is an absolutely analogous situation as far as the actual logistics of what happened, but it's so morally different. I wonder how good of an analog this is. The fappening.
Oh, yeah.
How terrible are you as a person for downloading the pictures of Jennifer Lawrence masturbating and enjoying those because you've always wanted to see her naked? I mean, we know the person who cracked into her phone is a piece of garbage. I don't know if this is the same thing you were thinking of the last 30 seconds.
I am going down the same track.
Like, it's the exact same thing. Like, this is info that was not supposed to get out there. The person who posted out there is garbage. Like, I'm never going to say that person wasn't garbage. But Jennifer Lawrence is super hot, and I sure did see those pictures. I mean, and it was wrong of me to look at them, but I saw them. Right?
Yeah.
There's a huge moral difference
It's
with that.
huge moral
but
difference.
I think
you can
so.
put it on the same level.
As I was saying, logistically it's identical, and I think that the what happened with this admin and some people online that you're talking about are treating it as identical. And me looking at the new Troll Warlocks card is not the same as me looking at Jennifer Lopez's breasts. Not
Exactly.
Lopez, Lawrence's breasts.
Well, I live in a HIPAA world,
Right.
So I mean, I feel like there's, when it comes to spoilers and leaks in gaming,
Probably let people know what HIPAA means.
I would hope they did. It's like I don't even know. There's a understanding that I am not allowed to talk about that in any way, shape, or form. Now,
I'm legally HIPAA bound too, just because of working in
the
print
printing
shops,
industry. Yeah.
because I see stuff like that.
see, and that's like I feel like there's maybe, if NDAs, I don't know, I'm going to sound like a dick for this, but like if NDAs were more like governmentally,
There's still a legally
it's
binding
there's
document.
there's legal issues, right? But like, since we live in a gaming world where spoilers and leaks happen frequently, it seems like it's the most egregious part is like, I feel bad for privateer press in that they now their insiders get a little weird. They were probably really excited to share all this information with us, and somebody went and popped their balloon.
Somebody shat in their cereal.
Exactly.
Did you see Hungerford's Twitter update like an hour ago?
Yeah.
It was just that
No.
picture of like the dog in the burning room when it's just like, this is fine,
Yeah.
everything's fine. Hungerford just posted that picture. It was depressing but good.
No, I feel bad for them for sure because it's not something that they wanted to have happen. I feel like I had this weird argument with myself in my head where I was like, you have to think that they expect some of this to happen, but they set those NDAs up in watermark and confidential to not make that happen. And it does really, it blows. I guess it's just really hard for me to react to it because I live on two sides of the fence where, like, if the information's out there, I'll look at it just because it's there and I want to be
stream
informed.
offline. A couple people have commented about the stream being offline.
Yeah.
We are experimenting some technological differences.
I don't.
You can see
Yeah,
us.
it looks like it just jumped off for a second there.
Gotcha.
All right.
We're having some kind of downloading thing, so sorry about that.
Hooray for downloading things. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like you said. I looked at every single one of the pictures, but it's this, we're all voracious right now for all the information
Exactly.
we can
We're
get.
hungry for it.
And so this isn't too disastrous for PP as long as it isn't every card. If they stop it now, things are okay.
Well, the meme or the picture that's been, or the picture that's been floating around on the Kador Facebook group or forums or what have you has been like just this barren wasteland with like a boned animal sitting out in there, and it just says Kador spoilers. And it's actually really nice that they haven't got many of those, along with the Menoth spoilers. There haven't been many of those, or no Minions ones.
I got nothing.
Like, those insiders are still yet to come, so there's something that's going to happen off of those. I don't know if anything was spoiled that was way over the top, like cock-blocked PP and what they wanted to do, other than maybe the NQ images that got spoiled out.
Yeah. But oh well. We're not going to talk about the actual stuff.
No, I'm not trying to comment on any of the rules that happened or start riding a doom train or talk about how happy I am about X, but I think there's some strange stuff about how people are reacting to the spoilers. And if you're one of those people who's feeling a little bit self-righteous and saying, I'm not going to look at the pictures out of respect for PP, super great. But just don't ostracize those for doing it.
You don't need to show how important I am for not looking at them. I mean, I didn't look at them.
But people need to know.
Yeah, what's the point in doing something correct if you don't rub it in people's faces?
Oh, yeah.
But I do know that a lot of the groups had pulled down the pictures in their forums just because, like, with it saying confidential and PP probably wanting to, I don't know if they're going to want to or if they're going to seek legal action against anyone, but I don't even know if they can trace it properly to do so.
They could do fairly well.
Okay.
I had read somewhere that PP had said that they knew where the leak was already.
Okay, well then at least it's good that they have the source of it, because I do believe that if those leaks do happen, the sources should be dealt with accordingly. I don't think that those should just go by willy-nilly.
Yeah. On the bright side, Jack Marshalls.
Yeah, Jack Marshalls.
Keeping things moving.
Yeah, Jack Marshalls were in the Insider today, so the Insider came out as
which 50% of us haven't read.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna pull up the exact thing. The basic thing is, so drives are for marshals that have drives. They are always on passive abilities that their jacks just have for being in their command range. Like the Iron Witch Overseer just gives Dark Shroud. Just boom, you're in his command range. You're his war jack. You just have Dark Shroud. That's pretty cool. I think they said the Covenant. Oh, I don't remember. No. I think this is from the thread, because there was an indicator leak stuff. Like the Covenant, I believe his drive was like Assault. He just gives Assault. He's just passive. And then instead of the Marshal pseudo-focus point, the Jack has 4 choices each activation, because there's 4 different things that it can do with its pseudo-Jack Marshal thing. Either A, if it aims, it gets +2 to all of its range damage. B, it gets +2 to hit on every attack it makes. Every single attack, that activation. C, it can run or charge or do power attacks for free, and it gets +2 to hit with its charge or slam to hit roll. Or D, it gets an additional melee attack and gets +2 to all melee damage.
It seems like they've done quite a bit with them. I haven't paid attention to the forums since I got off work, but I don't believe they've told us whether or not they still benefit from the power field thing.
They will not.
Okay.
They will not, because power field is for being in a battle group, and so journeymen give power field to their jack, but no, marshals wouldn't, because they're not in a battle group.
Well, and see, in my opinion, I honestly feel like Jack Marshals could have just went away, and I know that they're very present in the fluff of the game, but I feel like they just add a level of complexity that, especially on the disparity between War Machine and Hordes, that isn't really necessary. Like, they were maligned in MK2, and I don't feel like they bring enough interest to wanting to run them that way for them to really warrant an existence.
Well, I don't know. These abilities seem different from Focus enough to be interesting to me, and they still reduce that burden from your Warcaster. Because your Warcaster, interesting enough, so Power Up reduces the burden of your Warcaster in general, but your Warcaster is also going to have more jacks, so when you want to go all in on your Warjacks, it's more of a burden now, right? Because they're not just going to have one random Warjack, they're going to have 2 or 3 or 4. So it's kind of cool. You kind of have to break down. So the Marshaled Warjack is always at least as good as Power Up, because you always have at least that free run or charge.
Yeah.
So there's a focus right there. And so you kind of have to look at this nebulous thing where is an additional attack and +2 to all your melee damage as good as 3 focus? It's like, well, I don't know. It's kind of close there. If you have 2 melee weapons, then you're getting the attack as a focus, and then you've got 3 attacks now. They're each getting +2, which is a little weaker than a boost, but you're getting 3 of them instead of 2 of them. But, I don't know. It's
an option.
It seems... You're right that maybe in the case of streamlining, it could have gone away. But I think purely from a power level, I don't think Jack Marshalls are garbage anymore. These seem viable to me.
Yeah, I could see you wanting to bring them. It's just that, like I said, it seems like there are some things where they talk about wanting to make the game more simplistic or not so simplistic, but eliminate some of the complexities that we had. And I feel like having a differentiation between a Warcaster, a journeyman Warcaster, and a Jack Marshal just adds another layer of complexity, where on the Horde side you just have to worry about Warlocks and Lesser Warlocks. That's it. You don't even get that bonus of having a Beast Marshal, I guess.
You do have a Jack Marshal.
Yeah, you could have Jack Marshals.
Well,
Yeah.
I could have Rollick or something.
Yep, Raul can play for you for most of the Horde's factions. I think minions and trolls.
He works for pigs, if nothing else,
I think for
in the
Circle
minions.
as
But
well.
yeah, I think he does. But I don't know. The 2 people who haven't had a couple hours to think about this, what do your reaction to that?
I'm checked out.
Okay.
Talk about War Machine Amanda's done.
Yeah.
But as a Cyrus player, it doesn't
You
really
play
affect
War Machine?
you.
What?
She's checked out of Mark II and doesn't care about it until Mark III actually
I am
hits.
literally like, I am
talk
on
about Mark
hiatus.
III.
Well, I understand what we're talking about. I play Cyrus. That is my War Machine faction.
You play Convergence.
I play Cyrus.
No, Cyrus is not
Cyrus
an option.
Cyrus is a god.
Yeah, you don't play Cyrus.
Yeah,
Unless
it's
you
like-
talk
it's-
about, like, in an animated sitcom about the Convergence goddess,
Yes.
you play Cyrus.
Yes, I am a goddess.
Oh, Menoth, why'd you burn the couch again?
I want that sitcom. Just Thamer, Morrow.
Everblight.
Yeah, well, he's not a
Dunia,
god.
you ate my leftover pie.
All right, that does need to happen now. And Cyrus will obviously be the nitpicky one. Everything's just got to be in its spot.
yeah.
Always, like,
He's-
like Felix from The Odd Couple.
Yeah, he's completely Felix. Yeah.
She.
Yeah, she's genderless.
We're talking about the Odd Couple, not modern
Okay.
Odd Couple. We're talking about Odd Couple
No,
from
no.
back in the day.
No, I'm talking about Cyrus.
Oh,
She.
She would be Felix.
okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But again,
the character
she's
type
genderless.
would be.
Yeah, she's genderless.
Some hair is important.
But
Because it determines
Just a
which
strong female
which bathroom
character
you use.
for young girls to look up to.
Barathrum.
That's what Dunia
I mean,
is
Iron
there
Mother
for.
did keep her boobs and installed a gun in them.
Yeah.
That body be banging, yo.
What is that from?
Iron Mother having boobs? That's
No.
Oh.
Never mind.
all right.
But
All right. What do you think of the Jack Marshalls, Andy?
boobs.
Boobs. Sounds good. Speaking of which, so I never seen it because Adam Sandler's terrible and deserves death. But I came home from work today, and my stepson's fiance was sleeping on the couch, and apparently she'd fallen asleep watching Don't Mess with the Zohan. And it was on for like 20 minutes or so while I was there, and it's literally just... everything I saw is just white actors going oogly boogly, goats and hummus, hoobla hoobla hoobla, and it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Sounds
you should
like an
watch-
Adam Sandler
You should
movie.
watch the
It
whole
was
thing.
horrific.
Well, Adam Sandler is basically the crippled system of Hollywood, really.
No, no.
I don't just sit here in blackface for an hour and a half going, I sure do love grape soda and
I don't
just eat
know.
a watermelon.
I mean, we could
Like,
probably
that's
ask-
all he was
We
doing.
could probably ask Swedish Muslim Jeremy what he thinks about that topic.
That's not
He's in
racist.
Guantanamo right now, so I mean there's
I was horrified because I'm like, I knew he was doing it, and then they brought on that terrible fucker, and then the other one, and then somebody who I respect but that's terrible in his movies. Oh, it's terrible.
that movie I think is really the start of the downfall of Adam Sandler. 'Cause I think we talked about this before, maybe even during the movie Pain Train of that.
Yeah.
But I think Don't Mess with the Zohan is like up there because that was right around the same time like Master of Disguise came out.
Yeah.
And that horrible movie.
Oh my god! I just like they were playing hacky sack with a live cat for no reason. I guess just because they're stupid, savage foreigners.
I don't think that his
And then
sense
just
of
eating hummus. And,
I don't think his sense of comedy has evolved with the rest of the world. And I think like maybe if we saw this saw these movies like the Ridiculous Six, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, it probably
The
would
thing
be
is, there are
different.
people that still enjoy that, so...
Are
And
they?
I
They're
don't-
called 2-year-olds.
I'm not saying that they aren't...
But they don't buy
Dumb.
movie tickets. Who the fuck? Like, why Grown Ups 2? Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
America.
I'm pretty sure it's because he funds his own films, isn't it?
No, we fund his films by buying tickets
No,
to
no,
them.
I mean, like, instead of it being like a production company or
it's
something.
well,
He
Yeah,
was
it's like
having
Happy
troubles.
Gilmore Productions or whatever.
Yeah.
Happy Madison.
Happy Madison.
But external producers still give him the money. It's not like he doesn't pay for the films. His production company gets money from other people,
yeah.
and then
Who gives him money?
I don't. Well, the
Well-
movies still profit. Like the movie's budget will be $50 million, and literally $45 million of those dollars is $5 million each to him and his 8 best friends. And the other $5 million is to pay the travel expenses to go to whatever exotic locale he sets the film in, so they can just have a vacation together and get paid.
I could do
And
this.
then the movie
I could write
makes
movies.
it's literally a embezzlement scheme. Like it's literally a scheme. And then like so it costs $50 million that he just pockets and nothing goes to quality of the film, and then America pays $80 million in tickets, so the movie technically profited, so they do it again.
Yeah.
And again.
Get
And
it.
again. And they're all terrible.
Yeah.
I wonder what the cobbler was like.
Oh,
I always
my
see
God.
that. I always see that advertised. I never
Holy
watched
shit.
it.
Have you heard about it?
No, does a black guy come in? He starts making Air Jordans.
So
or
here's
something?
some great stuff. No. Do you know the plot line of the cobbler?
No, it looks like Adam
So
Sandler trying to make
his dad
shoes.
had a shoe shop, and then his dad disappears. So Adam Sandler takes over the shoe shop. Turns out it's a magical shoe shop where if he puts on the shoes of the customer, he physically transforms into that customer, so he can experience life as that person. Okay, fine. There's your weird setup. We can learn about ourselves as humans in a decent film. So he does such things as attempt to rape a woman.
Okay.
Like he goes to the man's house when the man's like away because he's got the guy's shoes. So he puts on the shoes so he looks like the guy. Remember, Adam Sandler's the good guy in this film. He's the protagonist. So he puts on the shoes because this guy's wife's hot. He goes to the wife's home. She's taking a shower. The only reason that Adam Sandler does not violate this woman physically, again, rape her, there's no other word for what he's trying to do, is basically he can't figure out a way to do it because he can't take his shoes off. If he could wear the shoes in the shower, he would have just raped that woman. Hooray, comedy!
Yeah, that's super funny if you're a Neanderthal.
It's hilarious that she was hot and he almost raped her.
Yep.
What?
I'm laughing so hard right now.
Like, holy shit!
Yeah.
And then it turns out that Steve Buscemi, who's his best friend in the whole movie, that's his dad wearing Steve Buscemi shoes, and he's just been hiding from his wife and kid for like a decade for no reason. So then Adam Sandler puts on his dad's shoes to take on dad form and goes has a romantic dinner with his own mom.
That is a little weird.
The end.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Like,
You're not going to watch it?
I don't think so.
We should watch it.
like holy
No,
fuck.
thank you.
Like, okay, I get it. Women are beautiful. And you're like, that guy's wife's very attractive. But then when you're writing and then he decides he's going to rape the shit out of this woman, you'd go, let's not actually
No,
make this movie. And then you
that's-
shred it and then you kill yourself.
That's probably not what they wrote down. They probably wrote it down like, oh, wacky hijinks, I had sex.
I mean, I guess like Revenge of the Nerds and 16 Candles, the main good people totally rape women. But, God damn it. It's okay he was wearing a mask, so she thought that he was her
Exactly.
boyfriend,
I
so it's not
understand.
really rape.
It's all right. I totally get it. I'm used to people telling me what is and isn't rape. I understand.
You're used to privileged white men telling you what's rape.
Yep.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
No, I
Oh,
wouldn't,
Missy,
of
sit down and let
course.
me explain to you.
Yep.
It's God damn it! If only he could have figured out a way to fuck her without taking his shoes off.
Could have worn sandals, right?
But her husband would have had to. He would have had
Had-
husband sandals.
Yeah. You can just go find a pair, no problem.
I guess at least Zohan was just casual racism.
Zohan it tries very hard to be like Zoolander, to be like just off the wall.
Yeah, but
quirky.
Zoolander wasn't in blackface.
They're so good.
No, but I mean that's
it's
what it
good.
was trying to be. It was trying to be like that's just odd, quirky thing, and to Adam Sandler dressing and doing what he does is odd and quirky.
When's the last Adam Sandler movie where Deuce Bigelow wasn't wearing facial coloring makeup to pretend to be a different race?
I don't know. He was the best part of
Because he was
Waterboy.
Mexican and ridiculous sick. Well, I guess Cajun doesn't count as a different race.
It's not a different race.
Okay,
He's
so
still
that's
white.
not that. But he was Native American
He wasn't Cajun, though. He's just a stupid redneck, I thought.
Well, they were in Louisiana, so stupid rednecks
Yeah, I
in
guess
Louisiana
that
are
is Cajun, yep.
So he was Native American in that one where he's reading stories to his kids and they come true. He was some Arabic race in Zohan. He's Mexican in Ridiculous Six. He was literally yellow Chinese in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Wasn't he also Chinese in...
Or maybe he was Indian in that and Chinese in
He was
something else?
Chinese in the one where he gets a fucking kid. What's his...
Oh, yeah. In Big Daddy.
Yeah,
or-
Big Daddy. I think he
one
was
where
Asian in
gets
that
a
one.
kid.
Again, the one
I
with the
can
main
wipe
kid.
my own ass, Amanda. I wipe my own ass.
Sometimes I wonder.
Where you bribe homeless people with food.
Somebody in chat mentioned that Rob Schneider is white in the Grown Ups movies, but that doesn't count because they are all literally playing themselves in the Grown Ups movies.
Yeah,
they don't
isn't-
even have characters.
isn't
it's
he
just
married
them
to,
going
like,
on
a-
vacation, filming it, and then fucking the film-going audience.
Basically, yeah.
Because they managed to take their shoes off on this one. Or Yeah.
I don't think it's partially Native American. I thought Cajun people were
Cajun people are French,
African
African,
American.
and then there might be something else
mean,
mixed in there.
It's a blend, right, of
Yeah,
the French
but it's-
settlers, the African slaves.
But now I
and
think
it's not
we're
a
getting.
race.
But now we're getting into
It's a culture.
It's a culture. Now we're getting into like Creole people.
That's what they said. They said
Yeah.
Creole, and that's
Yep.
where is Cajun a culture and Creole's a race? Like, where does that cross?
I feel like Creole might be more of a race and Cajun is more of a culture.
I should make this mention for future ones that if we're ever reading chat, we should also read what they're saying in chat instead of just responding to what people say in chat, because then it's an odd.
That guy had a good point,
Odd
though.
direction.
The one up
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Let's not read it, though. But that's a good one. Thank you, person.
Yeah. Changes our whole perspective on the situation.
They raised a really good point. You at home should read that as well.
Post the Twitch stream, Andy.
No, I don't think, unless they've
Once-
changed that. When you go
yeah.
back to watch a stream, the chat's gone.
After
Well, it
you
depends
use it, you
on
lose
how it's a setting. Because I know PS4. When I first streamed on the PlayStation 4, I had it so I wanted to be able to see my whole TV.
Oh,
and
no.
So,
I'm saying when you go and rewatch it. So
right,
I
and that's
can-
also what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I had it so my whole TV. It's a different setting. You can set it so that the chat is actually part of the broadcast, which means
Gotcha.
that when you rewatch it, you will see it.
I understand.
Or you can not set it that way. And I had it set wrong, and so I was reacting and responding.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I rewatched it later, you could just literally see none of the text. So I've changed
That's
that
fair.
setting. And I know the PS4 it's literally a box that just says like include chat
I think
in
that's
for
broadcast,
PS4.
but I don't know how.
No,
if it's
I
that
understand.
easy on
I've
PS4.
streamed on the PS4 before,
Yeah.
so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, we export it out to YouTube anyway, so there is no chat.
Right. Yep. So no chat for
And,
anybody.
and it's also
so that great point is lost to the ages.
we also put it out to audio podcast as well, so it doesn't
Do people
resonate.
actually listen to this?
Yes.
Yeah, and on purpose too. They don't just
A lot
blare,
more
they don't
than-
just blare it at people like Noriega who are trying to not to come out of their compound. He would have come out so fast if they just blared Crippled System at him. Oh, thank you.
Nathan gets to have one of his beers.
If
You're-
you want this one, I'll
you're
give it to
so
you. I'm sure
kind.
Amanda will appreciate it.
Is that your beers or is that Nathan's?
It was his.
It was
okay.
mine.
I just
I
claimed
thought-
it. You just thought he was drinking all of my beer like a shithead.
I was like, wow, Nathan seems to be really okay with this.
No, they were his. The joke was me claiming them by saying
Oh.
they were mine.
Okay.
So yeah, you could have one of his beers.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Even more. Thank
I'm
you,
proud
Nathan.
of you.
I know. I figured that was like as soon as you saw me go for number 5 in this podcast, you were like, "God damn it, Brian! You alcoholic
go
son
home
of a
and
bitch." It's fine. I can still.
You
cook.
have to clean the kitchen.
I gotta
so
do the
I can
dishes
cook.
ish.
Yeah.
Women is so good.
It was. So were the 4 that I drank previously. But
Oh, you should probably-
So that's 8 women.
8 women. Yep, 8 women in my mouth at once.
Seriously,
In my stomach
though.
at once. At
Fucking
least.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of him.
No.
I'm a fan of his earlier stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know, some of it. I mean, maybe I was just 14 at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, honestly, no. I can still watch Billy Madison, and I can still watch Happy Gilmore.
Happy
So we're
Gilmore,
talking,
I'll
like,
still watch.
early, like pretty much movie 1, movie 2,
We're
movie 3.
literally
like,
just talking Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Mr. Deeds is not bad-ish.
Waterboy, I think, is okay.
Waterboy
I
is.
think Waterboy is really cutting it close.
It is cutting it close.
It's at the time when he decided that all of his films would have to have a character with a funny voice.
And Waterboy's stupid as shit, but it's at least still kind of fun stupid. And you feel like, I think Waterboy was. All of those movies are stupid as fuck, but they're putting effort into the stupidity instead of just being "Bleh" and being stupid.
They also had that one lady from The Craft who's very attractive.
Yes, and it also had Jerry Reed. If you don't know who Jerry Reed is, you
Isn't
should
that
watch some more Smokey and the Fucking Bandit.
I was thinking of Fonzie for a minute, but that's somebody else.
He's
Speaking
in the
of
film,
Smokey and
too,
the
yes.
Bandit and
Yeah.
attractive people, man, Sally Field is still kicking it. Sally Field is a beautiful woman.
Yep.
She is one of the top 2 most attractive Aunt Mays.
Well, we saw a commercial while we were watching Hulu, or watching Archer on Hulu, and Julia Roberts has aged extremely well. At least she's paid someone to make her age extremely well.
I have always thought that she was incredibly unattractive.
Well, I mean, whether she's
can still
attractive
be
or not, but
unattractive
she's
and
still
age
aging
well.
extremely well.
True, I guess.
It looks like she is just like maybe a facelift away from Pretty Woman.
And it might just be
Right.
because I follow different things on the internet, but I think you can think someone has aged well, and they can just be really killing it with the makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I'm not done.
She looks like Steven Tyler in drag.
I don't,
there was a BuzzFeed or some kind of article out recently with this like 90-year-old woman who looks
I think we broke Andy.
relatively aged. I'm not even going to continue this story.
Am I wrong, Andy?
The most awkward thing is he has an erection right now.
I'm trying to hide it.
She's got Muppet mouth. Like I'm just like your lips are wider than your head. Like she looks like Terrence and Phillip. Like
She's.
Hey, buddy.
I'm not a fan of Julia Roberts, and I'm actually not a fan of Richard Gere either. But I do like Pretty Woman.
I
The
wish
movie's
Pretty
great.
Women had the balls to end with the original ending, where it's just like at the end of it, he just kicks her out and drives away. Like he just is driving the limo and goes, "All right, weekend's out," and kicks her out into a gutter and drives away because she's just a junkie whore. And the movie just ends with her back to being a junkie whore.
That's good storytelling.
It's dark, but it's
That's good storytelling.
I think
I
storytelling.
think the 80s needed some of that.
It's like
I don't think the 80s needed some of that.
That's like my
You're ending to Lucy?
two of my endings to Lucy.
Raylene watched Lucy yesterday, and it was still bad.
Yeah. My ending for that was the whole movie was a goddamn fever dream of her dying after getting kicked in the stomach from the drugs.
Yep, that and the laundromat.
I've never seen it.
It's
If you
Not
want,
bad.
I would love to just edit Lucy and make the 2.5 changes that I think would make it one of my favorite movies. It just was so close, and it just shit on itself.
time traveling and then turning into a USB thumb drive.
So she gets like an overdose of some drug that starts to give her magic powers.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine, whatever. There's your MacGuffin. This shit's making her go magic, and then the Yakuza wants the drug, so they're coming for her, and she has to fight them, or whatever. So the explanation for why the drug is giving her magic powers is, did you, Amanda, know that a human only uses 10% of their brain?
Except that's not true.
No, it's totally true.
It's totally not
Science. So this drug is unlocking more of her brain, and so she's getting closer and closer to 100%, at which point...
There's another movie about that, too. That
Yeah.
just
There are
recently
plenty
came
of
out.
they're
movies
always
about that.
stupid and wrong.
to be honest with you, Limitless is not that bad of
Limitless,
a film. though.
that's what I was looking
I
for.
did like that. This was better.
So just get rid of that and just make it magic drugs. You don't need a
Yeah.
Y. You just need magic
Magic
drugs.
drugs are legit.
Because
I
what's
would
double
take magic
stupid
drugs.
is not Samuel Jackson, Morgan Freeman. That's who it was. So Morgan Freeman's in the movie, and Morgan Freeman literally flawlessly predicts. He's like, "Well, at 60% brain capacity, you'll have telepathy." Sure enough, exactly at 60% brain capacity, she has telepathy. He's like, at 80%, you'll have telekinesis. She sure does right at 80%. It's like,
I'm
what
glad
the fuck?
We only use 10% of our brain,
Yeah.
but we know what happens once we unlock.
Right. So it's the stupidest goddamn thing. So you just eliminate,
Okay.
Morgan Freeman, and you eliminate the 10% of the brain to make it magic drugs. And then the climax is these bad guys are killing people and they're coming to kill her. And so what she does with her superpowers is she sits in a chair and she tries to be as pretentious as possible. And then once she reaches pretentiousness enough, she turns into a USB drive and the movie ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally turns into a USB thumb drive.
Yeah, and then the movie ends.
And then
Okay.
the movie ends.
And like, so replace that with literally anything else, and then I like the movie.
I wanted two things to happen in there. It's basically the one where she gets kicked in the stomach because she's a mule for the drugs, and then and that's how the whole thing starts. I wanted a hard cut from that
Just
point.
Put drugs up your ass.
She was not a willing mule, by the way. She was
No.
like literally kidnapped and drugged, and then she woke up and it had been surgically implanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was, this is a horror story,
It's
not
an-
oops, I'm a mule and something went wrong.
I wanted a hard cut to her lying on the ground afterwards, frothing at the mouth, like the whole movie, all the physics things that she did, all the telekinesis, everything was just a fever dream.
And then she just dies.
That
And
also
she's
was
just-
good storytelling.
Kind of like Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, that would be horrendous. The other thing I wanted to have
That
happen.
is good storytelling as well.
Love Pan's Labyrinth.
So the USB thumb drive contains all the knowledge of the world, of the universe. It
Right.
has everything. So I mean, you
Because
look
she
at
reached
it.
100%.
It's
On like
all-
an 8 gig thumb drive.
Yeah, it's just super shiny. It
It's
looks like
space.
It looks like
space.
it has the universe in it.
Okay.
It
Stars
just-
are twinkling.
yeah, it looks very pretty. What I wanted to have happen is like at the
A
end of the
rich
credits.
text file that says,
Nope.
haha.
Oops.
At the end of the credits.
At the end of the credits, Morgan Freeman just folding his laundry and then realizing that it was in his
no.
pocket. Because isn't that what happens to all USB thumb drives?
Yeah, I
Is
think
they
they
go
all
right
end
through
up
the
there.
wash.
Yeah.
But it's just,
Sometimes they still work, right?
Maybe.
I would have loved that movie if you just had any other ending and just cut out every Morgan Freeman and brain percentage based thing.
Yeah. It was a.
I love the visuals. The story was actually interesting.
Yep. The idea basically she was taking the drugs and she was so in a sense high of it that her body itself was dissipating. So she needed a
She was
recharge.
dying. It was killing her. And
Yeah.
so it was this physical degradation and mental escalation that was fighting each other.
Yeah.
And, it's not a bad movie. It just is annoying because it could have been I would have loved it.
Yeah. It was at that point when we saw it, it was probably our favorite of the Pain Train films.
Hercules.
Well, no, we saw Lucy before Hercules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hercules is by far. Well, no, I like out of all of our Pain Trains, I think the Interview is probably the favorite.
Oh, God, yes. God, yes.
Wasn't Lucy the one you got booted off YouTube for a little while?
No,
that
no,
was
no, that was
300.
300 for the.
fucking
Yeah.
300. Oh, my God. Speaking of protagonist rape.
Yeah, that's that. Have you watched 300 Rise of an Empire?
That's the second one, right?
302.
No.
You should watch it because
No.
it will infuriate you and it will make a great talking
I
subject.
get so angry as it is.
Amanda can't watch any movie where there's like medievalish fighting.
Because it's so bad.
I
never
I
accurate.
love the shit out of that stuff. I'll
I
eat it up.
actually enjoy that stuff, but
You won't watch Vikings with me
okay.
anymore.
So I'm going to be a little pretentious here. I went to school for English literature. Like, storytelling is something that is ingrained into me.
And the storytelling in
and
Viking
it
is
fucking
amazing.
pisses me off when it's stupid.
Let me ask you
Viking
this.
is not stupid.
I have a question for you, English literature person.
Sure.
What did you think of the animated Beowulf film?
That's the one with the CGI and the...
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I thought it was really interesting. I liked that Grendel and the Sea Hags spoke in Old English
Yes.
that differentiated them from the more modern human talk, which made sense. I also thought it was interesting because in the original story, it's Beowulf meets Grendel, kills Grendel. Beowulf meets Sea Hag, kills Sea Hag. Unrelated to them, dragon shows up, Beowulf fights dragon.
Yeah, it depends on the
Sea Hag is Grendel's
interpretation.
mom.
Yeah, no,
But
I've read Beowulf.
the dragon is completely unrelated to those two monsters.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Because it's just
I think you're misreading it.
in
I'm
the
pretty sure that...
because a peasant just finds a cup and brings it to Beowulf. Goes, look, I found this golden cup, and the dragon's like, that was mine. And then there's a fight, and they
Okay.
kill each other.
Yep. In the actual story, there
It's
was
just an
there was
unrelated
no
I'm getting
connection.
it confused because Grendel is a Sea Hag's child
Correct.
with the original king.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Somebody took medieval
And
English
so
literature and
what they
didn't.
did in
It's like
the
5 years ago.
You didn't take it
in
with
the
me.
animated
No, I
film,
didn't.
they tied them together
Yes.
because Grendel is the sea hag's son by the
Which
original
is
king,
good storytelling.
and they made the dragon the sea hag's son by Beowulf, and so then there was poetry with Beowulf fighting the yeah, and that was good storytelling. I actually really thought it was well done.
I loved
I thought it was really
I loved the
visually
Beowulf
pleasing too,
CGI movie. It was great.
I saw it in IMAX 3D. It was pretty cool.
I think I was actually a kid working in the movie theater still at the time.
No,
so
I
watched
thought we
it.
were a unit.
No, I don't
then.
think so.
You were a eunuch?
Unit.
Yeah, Brian's a eunuch. I didn't.
Well,
know
I
if
mean,
you guys
after
are
you've
aware.
done to yours what I've done to mine, you'd end up the same way too.
Fair enough.
I like the 13th Warrior. That's
I
another
enjoyed that
retelling of Beowulf.
Yeah.
With
That's the one
Antonio
Tom Cruise?
Banderas.
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
I'm thinking of
13th Warrior is-
the Last Samurai.
It's
Those
got
are
the-
two very different movies.
Yeah, I know. The best samurai is a white guy, the best Indian's a white guy, and the best Arab is a Mexican.
But I don't know. I don't know what it. The reason why I like that film is that it's it has Antonio Banderas in it, but it has all he is just the narrator. He's just the
He's the
person
witness, yeah.
observing the whole thing, and that's that. And the guy who played Bolvoy in that would have been the most perfect Thor ever.
Speaking of narrator, one of my favorite movies of ever is on Netflix, Blade Runner, but they have the shitty version with the narration over the top.
Funny story. I thought that as well, and then it turns out every version has the narration over the top.
No.
You can go watch
There
the
is-
director's cut downstairs.
A cut of it that doesn't have the
Is there a
narration
third
over
cut
the
then?
top, and it is fantastic.
Have you heard the story about the narration?
They didn't want it in the first place.
Not necessarily they, just Harrison Ford. So he purposely did it as bad as possible to encourage them to cut it, but they kept it so it's just terrible narration.
It's so bad.
It is bad.
So bad.
Also, not a replicant. Fuck you.
I'm not sure.
He totally is.
Oh no.
No, he's
No,
totally
he
not.
totally,
No.
he's
Totally not a
I'll
replicant.
Zappity this right now.
He's totally not a replicant.
I'm not sure.
Also, he totally raped
read
somebody.
The fucking book.
Oh my god! Speaking of 80s
Yeah.
movies where the protagonist rapes a woman,
I'm not sure I like Blade Runner as much.
why? Because he rapes a woman, or because of the narration, or just in general?
I liked the setting of the movie. It was really cool.
I fucking
setting
love
is
Blade
cool.
Runner.
I almost. It's kind of weird. I think they both came out around the same time. I'll have to fact check myself later on. But there's another movie I think came around at the same time that I like almost more, and that's Runaway.
I thought you were going to say Cherry 2000, which is a superior movie.
No,
Cherry 2000.
no.
It's a good movie, but I won't say it's superior.
Superior.
Have you seen
Blade
Runaway?
Runner is
No, but I've seen Cherry 2000.
It's a futuristic cop movie.
So it's
with
literally
robots.
right up my alley.
Kind of. Well, it's got Gene Simmons as the main villain.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
But I mean, no,
This
but he
is
actually.
something we need to watch.
Well, did you see Space Cop? Speaking of futuristic cop movies,
You haven't seen Space
No,
Cop.
I
I
haven't.
wouldn't mind sitting down it again. It might be better the second time.
because I'll know which 30 minutes are boring and which 10 minutes are amazing.
Yeah.
So I'll know when to take a nap.
But no, Runaway is actually it is Gene Simmons playing the main villain, but he's playing it. It's good. I mean, he's actually acting through it.
Am I thinking of a different? I'm thinking of a different movie. I think, but I thought Emilio Estevez is coming to my mind. Isn't that like Jack Reacher? or
That's Men at
something?
Work.
Oh, that's one of the best movies of our time. But
Obviously.
Golf clap.
The Nixon mask on the corpse. Good time. I think
God, I
Blade
haven't
Runner.
seen that in a long time either.
Blade Runner is directorially and cinematography wise like a flawless film. It's a beautiful film. The shots are amazing. The emotions are amazing. There are weaknesses in it that are unfortunate, like the narration
I will
and
give
the
you
story.
that.
You know, has some weaknesses, character motivations. You know, it feels like there's a lot that was on the cutting room floor, but it's definitely a classic.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
It's completely different than the book.
I think it doesn't.
Completely
Blade
different.
Runner basically defines the whole cyberpunk genre as far as movies are concerned. If I had to say
Oh, for
so.
sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's what's set forth basically every anime film that you've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. When comparatively speaking,
Neo Tokyo is.
Yeah, I'm saying Neo Tokyo. Yeah, but the manga of Akira, when did that come out? Like, I'm wondering when Akira came out versus.
I feel like that might be too close.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
I think Blade Runner's first.
Blade Runner the film was before Akira the film. I'm 99% sure that's true. But when did the manga of Akira come out? And then,
82.
82 was the manga?
End of December 82. But Blade Runner is based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Which that book obviously was way earlier, but the visuals...
Blade Runner is apparently 82 as well.
Yeah, so that's pretty...
That's an interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
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 I mean, because visually they're both very similar.
Very similar, yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's... I mean, just going from
good.
Nathan
I
and
haven't
my...
seen it in a really long time. I don't think you've ever seen it.
I've
Blade
watched
Runner?
Blade Runner a bazillion
Akira.
times.
Oh, Akira.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
You really
need
should.
to.
Oh my god.
At least once.
Like my
Only if we can finish
interweave-
watching that Bible show where David kills shit.
I don't know what
It
that
was
means.
so boring.
It was so good.
A Bible show?
That was basically like taking the
It's been a long
visceral
episode.
the visceral shows that are on like Game of Thrones, Vikings, and etc. and put it in the theme of like Bible times.
By the way, and I'm stealing this from a Cracked article, but Goliath was totally the underdog in that fight.
Yeah.
Like, David had a significant tactical advantage.
Well, yeah, he could just stay.
It's like, sure, you know who wins in a fight? I mean, ignoring the fact that he's dead. But do you know who wins in a fight between Andre the Giant with a stick and me with a gun?
Exactly.
I have a fucking gun. Who cares that he's tall? I just shot him in his face.
Yep.
Like, that was a rigged fight.
It was.
But it's all about the storytelling.
Right?
We should get you on to some movie Pain Trains.
Oh, probably.
You and I can have artsy-fartsy discussions about it.
I'm really good at this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that would probably be good.
But I want to tell you this about the 302 before.
302.
The 302.
Oh my
Okay.
god, there's so many awesome things about that film.
This is in keeping with previous discussions.
Are you bringing up the
Yes.
antagonist?
Yes, I'm bringing that
in
up.
the film? Okay.
So there is a character who, when she was 5 or so years old, a kingdom, their army came, murdered her entire family, then raped her for a decade. They just kept her with their army, and then they just took turns just raping her for like a decade.
Okay.
And then another kingdom rescued her from this and pulled her out of that and rescued her and then raised her to be a strong warrior. And now she's seeking vengeance against the kingdom that murdered her family and kept her as a sex slave from the time she was 5 till the time she was 15.
Okay.
Which of those two kingdoms do you think we're supposed to root for?
Really?
The Greeks are the ones who have been raping her for a decade, and the Persians are the ones that rescued her, and they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because Xerxes is a mean guy. Hooray for Greece.
Okay.
Xerxes does want to take over the world, though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the rapists.
yeah.
Like, he's got literature and the concept of mathematics, and they've got, we punch each other a lot and rape people. Like, I'm in favor of him conquering them.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no, like, I'm not twisting it. There's no, like, well, if you look at it this way, that's literally factually how it's spelled out. And I know this is, like, the 10th episode I've brought this up, but it's so horrific and ununderstandable to me that I just can't fathom that the filmmakers unironically put that in there as her motivation and thought we would root against her.
I mean, to be fair, if it's based on any kind of factual anything,
Nope.
they're probably like, well, she's been raped, so she's obviously got some kind of connection with them.
Here's what it's based on. It's based on a half-finished series by Frank Miller. Frank Miller wasn't even done writing the whole series of Xerxes, which is basically about him. They just said, oh, you're making a sequel to 300? Well, let's make a sequel to 300. And they just put it out, which has nothing to do with Frank Miller's sequel to 300.
And it's so, like, I don't know how his turned out, but it's so disjointed. It's almost like he was halfway through making cookies, and they're like, oh, you're making something? And they stole the dough and tried to make a quiche out of it.
It's kind of it's pretty much it. I'm not even sure if 300 his version of 302 is actually done yet. which is just really sad.
Just call it 302. Because I just
It's just 302. It's like Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah, they called for reinforcements. 2 dudes show up.
302. They're their archers.
You do know at least that 300 is not factually based, right?
No,
Well,
it's-
kind of is.
Well, it's
Thermopylae was a thing. There's the end of your facts.
it's factually based on his interpretation of a movie that he saw as a child that was about the 300 at Thermopylae.
Oh, I think there's a lot of those stories that are not very factual.
But the best part is everyone talking about how it was like I don't like 300. It's not factually accurate. It's like, well, this is a grown man's childhood memory of a movie that was not factually
300's
correct.
Not a bad movie.
I just didn't like 300 because I hated everyone in it. Like, and this well, like, okay, King Sexy
King
Pants,
Leonidas.
whatever his name. Yeah, Leonidas.
What about, okay.
I
How do you
prefer
not love Jerry Butler? What's wrong with you? Craig Ferguson loves Jerry Butler. Why don't you?
The cripple guy comes up to him and is like, I want to be a warrior.
Yep.
What you say is, okay, you're in front, and then that guy dies and you're over and it's all fine.
Yep.
But okay, you're not going to do that. The reason he rejects the hunchback is like, well, you can't fight with us because we always fight side by side, spear in hand, shields up as a phalanx. Get out. The very next fucking scene is those people running in 30 different directions to do kung fu backflips one-on-one against 30 different enemies.
You fight with a phalanx against many foes, but if you're just taking on a couple foes, that's okay to break rank.
Okay, so do that with the cripple. Let him break ranks all day long.
It is a flaw in that film, basically. His
Operation Get Behind
character's
the Hunchy.
betrayal is a flaw in that film.
You are a horrible human.
It's all right.
We should get to Zappity Grumbles. We've been
Sure.
Do we have Zappity
we're
Grumbles?
definitely like a
Probably
half
got
or
like
more.
2. I'm sure
If there's
Chris
any in
Green
chat,
put
we
out
can
like
respond to him
500.
without reading the question, because that's what Andy likes. People can insert the question.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Tom Selleck as a non-cowboy hero. Sounds good.
Oh no, Tom Selleck. He was. That's basically him talking about.
Was he in Runaway?
That's Tom Selleck in Runaway.
Was
Yeah.
Runaway by Slade the theme song to Runaway,
No.
the movie?
No.
Because I like that song. See chameleon lying there in the storm. All things
Hey, stop it!
everyone.
Stop. So we don't get the content I need.
Oh yeah, they'll pull that down.
I feel like only the music nerds will get this, but there's a video on YouTube that is a performance of the piano piece 433, and it actually has the copyrighted music warning on it and is muted because it has 433. Music nerds will understand that reference. The rest of you can Google it later.
Okay.
It's fucking hilarious if you know the song 433.
So.
Oh,
somebody's got
Nate.
their
I'm
phone-
sorry, shit.
Somebody's
My
got their
phone is on super silent.
I know, mine normally is
I
either
always
on
keep
super
my phone on
silent
super
or
silent.
on my crotch, and
Brian yells at me because I keep my phone on silent and I don't answer it.
Just wait. When I get in a car accident and with my dying breath, the last thing I want to do is call my Amanda. I'm
And
going to
I don't
dial
check
it,
my
and it's going to
voicemail
go to
either.
straight to voicemail, and you'll never know the last thing I wanted to say to you
No.
with my dying breath.
So you're not
never-
going to leave a message?
I never
No,
check my
because she
voicemail.
won't fucking listen to it.
You won't even listen to
No,
the voicemail?
For
I
2
don't
years,
like-
she'd never even set up her voicemail.
It was like 6 months.
that's like 2 years.
Yeah, it is.
It's half a year, and if you flip that fraction, that's 2 over 1.
Yep.
Illuminati confirmed. Half-Life 3.
All right, so Carnage seemed nonplussed by Shut Up and Sit Down a previous cast. What's the beef? I don't know.
What's that?
Brian's not here.
Yeah.
Brian
Brian's-
seemed nonplussed.
Unhappy with.
Is that what nonplussed means?
Yeah, basically.
I'm a fucking old man.
That's
No, if
That's
you
an
were a
actual
super,
term.
if you
It's
were
not
a
an
super
internet
old
term.
man,
that's like a term from like Shakespearean era. Like
Yeah.
that's an old term.
Oh, okay. Well then,
then you're not learned.
I'm not learned. Then I'm a stupid old man.
You're a simpleton.
Yeah. Derp, derp, derp. Thoughts on Tom Vassell?
Tom Vassell?
Don't know. who that is.
Vassel.
I know
have no
Tom
idea.
Vassell.
Who's Tom Vassell?
I know. Fuck.
Hang on, let me Google
Shit.
that
No,
real
I'm
quick.
gonna hate
The
myself.
best podcast.
Oh no,
ever.
he's the he does board game reviews. I don't know if there's some drama about him that makes me that I should hate him, but his board game reviews are interesting, and I usually agree with his stance. If it turns out he's like a super racist and I miss drama, that's bad. But if you're just asking about his reviews...
Oh, he's the board game geek guy.
Yeah, he's the board game geek guy. His reviews are always very helpful.
Yeah, he's a pretty legit dude. Like, he's
Dice
a little...
Tower.
Yeah, he's a little eccentric.
Oh, that's Dice Tower Games?
Yeah, the nasally dude with the mustache.
He does video board game reviews for the internet. Of course he's eccentric.
Well, I mean, like, yeah. At any rate,
No well-adjusted human being has a neckbeard and does video board game reviews for the internet.
He's a fine gentleman, and the two bald guys he stands with. Whenever I want an opinion on a board game, I will go to them for like my first initial reaction to it because I trust their opinion.
Oh, that's right. Brian hates the shut up and sit down guys. They also do video reviews like Tom Vassell, and Brian just thinks they're awful.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of them.
He showed me like the first 10 minutes of their. They hate anything that isn't a worker placement Euro game, and they just have this blind wrath. And they obviously like don't know what they're talking about a lot of times because their hatred blinds them of things. Like in the review of Star Wars Rebellion, they're like, "Oh, this is really neat. Look, it has 2 rule books in it. It has like the full rule book, and then it has like the quick access rule book." And they're like, "Isn't that neat that they have this new thing?" And it's like every every Fantasy Flight game has had that for like a decade. And that just shows that these people just don't even fucking look at the things they review.
Sure.
And so he just hates them because of stuff like that.
The quick rule book is to get you acclimated to the game right away.
Also, they're British, so they're like subhuman anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, don't count.
Yeah.
Zappity.
Grumble.
Doppler Bark Animus, too good for Circle to keep to
Leaks.
Leaks. No, that's NQ. Is that really a leak, though?
Well, the NQ ain't out yet.
Oh, I guess
So it's not a leak a week from now.
It's
it
some-
seems really
some
good,
vendor.
but yeah, okay.
Yeah, thanks, newbie. Bastard.
Yeah, that's a leak thing.
Yeah, leak. I should just go and delete his post.
Yeah, take that, newbie.
Yeah, Zappity.
You're
that.
worse than
My
bad
phone's not
things.
working. I can't delete it. I tapped it multiple times. It did not work.
I recommend Brazil.
The country?
No.
just yes, the country. I like
No,
the Zika virus.
I really
The
don't
movie?
fucking recommend the country
Yeah, Zika
at
virus
all.
is
The
fucking
country's
scary as hell.
terrible.
They recommend they require everyone vote in the country, though.
That's also terrible.
Yeah.
It probably is. Their women are attractive.
I would require everybody to
Are you sure
pass
they're
a
women?
quiz proving.
I really don't care if they look that good.
But no,
Better civics education before everyone can vote.
yeah, like a quiz, like that you have to prove you have some basic knowledge of the candidates and their stances,
Are
and then
you
if you
going to
pass
vote
it,
for
you're allowed to
anyone
vote.
but the president, or in addition to the president? Like, do you have a?
Not even that, just like which nominee wants to build a wall, which nominee this that, and if you can pass it, then you're allowed to vote. But if you're like, I don't know, but I check R because I was told to my grandpappy. But you fuck off.
They don't
Or you
have
vote
that
for-
in the U.S. here, though.
Or you
either.
vote for
Right,
Dick Bag
and that's
McTitties.
yeah. I'm saying that'd be good. What titties? Who has titties?
Dickbag McTitties is a
yeah.
candidate, right?
I
The
like-
issue with that is illiteracy,
yeah,
like
that
test
is.
taking. There's a lot of problems that come from that.
Well, then maybe what you can have do is some kind of a tax at the poll. That'd be fair. No, so anyway, Brazil, the movie. Because we were
It's all
talking about
Robert De
artsy
Niro,
fartsy
right?
movies. It is, yeah. It's
a wonderful film.
Well, or in general, Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam is a goddamn master. If you don't watch David Lynch, you fuckers, watch Terry Gilliam instead. If you want confusing but artistic and symbolic, David Lynch is a hack who just masturbates and then shits out some terribleness, and you
What are
think
talking
it's
about?
artsy
Mulholland
fartsy.
Drive
Is a
amazing.
terrible movie.
It's a terrible
It is a
fucking
terrible
movie.
movie.
It's like
Never seen it.
backwards
Oh, I
talking,
don't
dancing
recommend it.
Czechoslovakian midgets are not artsy or deep. They're stupid.
One of us.
But Robert De Niro literally being devoured by paperwork.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Have you ever seen it?
The DVD of Brazil has 4 different versions. You talking about director's cut, and I was talking about artsy films remind me of this. But Brazil is a fucking masterpiece. Everyone should watch Brazil. And just Terry Gilliam in general is amazing. Freaking Adventures of Baron Munchausen is great. Time Bandits, 12
Yeah.
I will
Monkeys.
say, yep, all good.
I mean, only Terry Gilliam. The Imaginarium, Dr. Parnassus, his main character died halfway through filming, and he's like, I'm Terry Gilliam, fuck it. So he got 4 other people to also play the main character and just jumps between actors randomly during the film, and it fucking works. Like, that's how brilliant he is.
all
So
good
good.
movies.
Yeah. That's my recommendation. Terry Gilliam in general, Brazil in specific.
That's a good recommendation.
I kind of have a two-parter for my recommendation.
Oh my god.
It's all right. Number one, Marvel Universe, the miniatures game. It's not something that you would delve into as a mini game. I think it's more Chris Green. I echo his suggestion. It's more of like a board game you pull out once in a while to screw around with because you get like little cool Marvel minis.
Could you enunciate more? It's hard to hear you with Chris Green's dick in your mouth.
I don't know. No, because it's one good turn. One good turn deserves another, right?
Even more.
Like
Yeah.
he gave me an amazing blowy for wanting to plug this game, so I have to give it back in return. The other one that isn't blowing anybody is the Tectonic Craft Studios. Like I never really cared too much for MDF terrain or the stuff you pop out put together. It just never hit any chords with me, never looked cool or anything. But this guy does an amazing job, and I was even surprised with the stupid box I made. I made a crate, and it looks awesome. And now I have a bunker and a crane and all this other cool stuff. The guy just does superb work. And he's also an engineer, from what I gather. No, not an engineer, an architect. And he builds all of his buildings from the ground up instead of just like, here is box, let's make box look like bunker. And it translates extremely well. If you have any desire to pick up terrain, I would say that he's definitely the first one you should check out.
I would definitely. I'll back that as well. His thought process that he goes through to make those terrain pieces. I was able to figure it out and see and basically decipher what he was trying to think of. It's amazing. Like his buildings are like 4 layers thick just to show detail. So he has some struts that are going up on the side instead of like most places will just put just a strut there. No, it's got 3 layers to it. He's got holes in the wall.
The objectives that were like rock piles where you literally like punched out the layers and stacked them. Yeah, those were really cool.
He has like little spin down ones too, and
The crane is super cool because
the crane. Well, that's the thing. Like, I had no instructions on how to put this fucking crane together because he hasn't updated his website for fucking ever. So I had to try and figure it out on my own, and I was able to do so just based on like kind of having an idea of what it was supposed to look like. The bunker's going to be the weird one. I have some pictures of it on my phone just by happenstance because we used them during a Marvel game that we played. But I'm excited to see how I build that one with just having the picture as a reference.
Yeah. I assembled he had a 40K terrain building,
Like a ruin or something.
like a ruin. In fact, the pictures that Isaiah posted up online those were from my assembly. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really hyper detailed for basically a wood cutting. I at least wouldn't have expected out of that. They're also durable as compared to a lot of the MDF terrain that I've seen.
Well, that's like my stupid crate that I put together and painted now. I feel like I could brain somebody with it and it would still be intact.
Correct.
And the other thing too, like as a person who enjoys painting, his terrain is actually interesting to paint. Like it's not just something that's like, I'm going to put some colors on it, highlight some shit here, maybe dry brush it, it's on the table. There's actual detail and things that can come out that make it stand above the rest of what the industry really has.
Yep. And it's pretty cost effective. His terrain trays are actually really not terrain trays, but the
movement trays.
His movement trays for tournaments are really solid.
They also have some interesting function to them too. Like I saw one where like the top is like a dice rolling tray, but underneath is where you pull out this thing, and then that's where all your little X-wing widgets go.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of unique utilitarianism to what he does. I think the guy's brilliant.
Yeah, the dice rolling tray that he got or that he has was really cool. That's got the lift up and pull out to where it's got a whole drawer, everything underneath. I assembled so many of those. But yeah, no, his stuff's awesome.
So those are my recommendations. Miss Amanda.
Come play Overwatch with me.
No. Battleborn.
Nope.
Can't.
Yes,
I can't. I can't play
Why not?
because it's not out
not out
yet.
yet.
Well, obviously next Tuesday.
You're not my friend.
I'm pretty sure we're friends.
She's my friend.
You're not my friend on. Thing is, I play on PC though,
Oh, what a nerd.
because that's where all my other friends
Well,
play.
your friends are nerds.
Yeah. So
Just saying.
thanks for insulting all my friends.
You're welcome.
Okay.
No, yeah, after I dicked around with the beta, decided to pick it up. It's a
Yep,
good
the
time.
beta was out, and then Life as I Know It ended.
Yeah, it was pretty depressing. I'm really glad they extended it. We did some really stupid shit the last night that we could play. Full team of Hanzos. It's a really great time.
A full team of Mercy.
Is not a really great time.
A full team of Junkrat was fucking amazing.
Yeah, full team of Junkrat is actually fairly successful.
How about a full team of Bastions?
That's
Is
busted as
stupid.
shit. I fucking
No one
yeah.
should do that. That's the worst thing.
We
If
did-
you have a conscience whatsoever, you should
Yeah.
not do
We
that.
did run into one of those teams, though, and by the end of it, we had got 4 of us to go on Genji, and it just wasn't a problem.
It's because he counters. Like, I mean, that's really what the game is. But we did a full team of Mei too, and that was
Ice wells for days.
so. If you want shenanigans on Overwatch, play with me on PS4.
I was gonna say I didn't. Through all the times that I went through it, we never ran into people playing like a full team of.
Oh yeah,
shenanigans.
I don't think that it was a really common thing because I've only seen like a couple.
It's
like,
hard to
joke
coordinate.
vines
What
and
was
stuff.
it? 5 people? 6
Six people. I mean, it was questionable if we were going to have Brandon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So not to shoehorn a reference and do it again, but it's topical right now. One funny thing in Battleborn is that no, that's topical to what you're saying. Is that when you start a match or start the versus the PVE, it does like an opening credits sequence where it's like and starring Asphyxius, that's my handle, as
So-and-so.
Oscar Mike, whoever I'm playing or whatever, and it goes through all the people. And if multiple people are playing the same character, the game gets more and more sarcastic about it. Because you're just
Okay.
being uncreative shithead. So if you have a team of like 5 of the same person, by the end of it, the game is just openly yelling at you and belittling you for being uncreative and picking the same character. It's kind of funny.
time. Otherwise, super cool thing. You can buy a body bag on Amazon.
You can buy a what?
A body bag on Amazon.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's like a sleeping bag, more secure.
So if anyone's looking for one, you can find them on
You
Amazon.
can buy anything on Amazon.
Yes, you can.
I'd rather buy the Tauntaun sleeping bag. It's,
Yeah. Seems good.
you know what they should do? They should honestly make the Tauntaun. I've
I
seen
like
the
Wampa
Tauntaun.
ice scraper.
Yeah, I've seen the Tauntaun sleeping bag. What they should do is they should make it so it has a horrible smell when you open it.
I don't think they should.
I think it would be great.
Okay, you go ahead and get a bed that smells terrible.
It'd be like a sad moo when you unzip it. Would be at least comical.
That's yeah. But I will say though it is sad that Battleborn is released about the same time in a sense as Overwatch. They are two completely goddamn different games.
Nothing alike.
They are well.
They're both first-person shooters. That's literally
They
the only
both
thing
have
they have in
first-person
common.
shooters, and they have multiple characters, and they share a very similar cartoony style.
Isn't
Right,
Battleborn
but the gameplay is incredibly different.
Isn't Battleborn the gist like you're criminals?
No.
No,
Or is that a different
Battleborn
There
one?
was
is
a Penny Arcade comic about Battleborn where they referred to it as Battle Stillborn.
sure, but no,
Okay.
Battleborn is more of a it's basically Borderlands.
Well, Battleborn has raids against the game where you fight bosses and enemies in a plot situation, and it has MOBA where you have lane pushing,
Sure.
and Overwatch has arena combat a la Team Fortress.
Yeah.
So the actual gameplay, like, yeah, they're first person with things, but the actual what you get out of them, they're not directly competitive. Like the analogy I said before, it's not Coke Pepsi, it's Coke 7-Up. You know, like they're not even the same flavor. Yeah, they're both sodas, but
They're completely different, and it's sad that in a sense
Overwatch is going to crush Battleborn.
correct.
But I think enough people play Battleborn, it's not going to die. It's just going to be, a billion people play Overwatch and a million people play Battleborn, and that's fine. Battleborn will just limp along with a million people, and it'll do its own thing. It just, whatever.
until we get Borderlands 3.
Until we get Borderlands 3.
Yeah. But you don't have a PC that can run Overwatch?
I probably do.
But she plays it on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I spend all day at a computer at work, so I just prefer to play on a console.
Sure, makes sense. Makes sense. I generally like my Blizzard games on PC.
I actually prefer FPSs with a controller over keyboard and mouse, just because I'm a savage and because I grew up playing, on my PlayStation. I always had shitty computers, so I graduated from from GoldenEye, like we all did, into I had a PlayStation, so I played things like Red Faction and whatnot, and so I'm just used to playing shooters on. Like the double stick is more convenient for me than keyboard and mouse.
Like,
it's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I like the good old double stick.
Yeah, I was raised in a family of console gamers. I don't think we did the only thing I ever did with a PC when I was a kid was like IRC chats or something like that.
We're running almost 2 hours here, so let me get through my recommendation quick.
Really quick, though, before you do that, somebody in the chat said Camacho for president, and I'm going to say unironically, and I may have said this before on air, I've said it before many times, Camacho, the president from Idiocracy, is the most competent and capable president in cinematic history. Zero sarcasm. He saw a problem. He admitted there was a problem. He admitted that he himself was not smart enough to solve that problem. He found the most capable person out there who he knew could solve the problem. He put that person on the problem, gave them infinite resources to solve the problem, and the problem got fucking solved. That is the best president in cinematic history.
I won't disagree. It's also a fantastic movie.
Totes agree.
Anyway, go on with your recommendation. It was there.
I forgot what my recommendation was going to be.
Body bags
was
on
it
Amazon.
don't open a Games Workshop store in Fitchburg because fuck you, we already have great game stores?
That is the Games Workshop motto, though.
I to be honest with you, it is the argument there. I know your hatred of Games Workshop, but the argument there would have also been the same thing as when I'm Bored opened up over in Middleton.
No,
it's a new game store that's opening up and has competitive materials.
I think that's different because I'm Bored isn't Fantasy Flight Games opening up a game store that only sells Fantasy Flight games a mile away from a game store that already exists.
Well, also when you look at the way that
Games Workshop already sells their shit in Pegasus and Misty.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I have for it is it's not like down the street.
It is a little further away.
It's within 20 minutes to a half hour of the other game stores in town to a place that's
its location is not egregious. I never understood the concept of Games Workshop stores opening where there's already game stores
nearby.
Because they like if you're going to buy 40K, you can just buy it at your local game store.
Correct.
I understand Games Workshop being like, well, nobody lives in town X, but there's a market there, so we'll open a store there. Sure, I get that. I just don't get crushing a place that trying.
That's the Games Workshop motto.
I know, but I just don't get the logic of competing with somebody who's already giving you money to sell you their product.
You don't have to deal with any sort of...
I know.
It's like the wholesale thing.
As what Casey had said too over in Minnesota, that they had opened up a Games Workshop store over there, and it just failed after 2 years.
Yeah, I can't imagine it'll stick around for a long time.
I mean, we have a very established
healing.
crew that plays 40K at Pegasus and at Misty. So I mean, it's whatever. I mean, they're probably not going to have game space there. I'll go check it out to see what kind of game space they have there, but I doubt they're going to be able to support what our local game stores can normally support.
Like I said, even if I played GW games still, I would still buy them from...
Correct. From the local stores. I mean, that's...
And I encourage people to do the same.
Yep. All right,
did you remember your recommendation yet?
My recommendation was by Joseph, 1313, that says, watch Idiocracy. Watch it. It's good.
That wasn't your recommendation, you liar.
Andy's recommendation was go to MuseonCon next year, MomCon next year.
MomCons.
Yep. Don't enter anything
With
to
his
Pink
very
contest
few
because you know
moms.
I'll just win it.
That's true. Andy would like to announce the best in show of next year's MomCon.
No!
Andy Welton with his your model here.
All right, we're done now.
Good night.
I need to go get some food.
We need